Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the 15th running of the Daytona 500 here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series for the Elite Racing League. My name is David Westergreen. I'm being joined in the booth by Zach Evans tonight as my co-announcer. We've got David Huckleberry on production. Sam Boutwell is our race control. You'll hear us bring him up all night long. And we have pre-race festivities here for the Daytona 500. So without further ado, we will send it down to the national anthem and get the flyover and command to start engines right after that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Elite Daytona 500. I'm Brent Wentz. I'll be your Grand Marshal for tonight to get things kicked off. I've been in racing for almost 30 years professionally. I've won a lot of cool races along the way, but nothing really stacks up to a couple Daytona 500s in 2009, 2012 with Matt Kenseth and that potent 17 group. Growing up, you watch, Dale Earnhardt, a lot of these guys trying to win that prestigious event, and, they come so close sometimes, and finally crossing that, off their list was awesome to see growing up, and to be part of that yourself and standing in Victory Lane in the World Center of Speed, at a place where you watched many of your heroes try to accomplish that goal is definitely something special and something I'll take with me for the rest of my life. So I know you guys want to get rolling here. Just got to thank Chad and Elite for having me on here. And good luck. Stay patient. Don't save fuel like the guys do on Sundays these days. And remember, you got to be there at the end. That pay window don't open up till you cross that checker flag. So without further ado, drivers, start your engines.
Welcome back to the booth here for the 15th running of the Elite Belly Up Sports Cup Series Daytona 500. And as cars get ready to roll onto the grid, we will begin the starting grid with the 4D Raceware Polo Award winner, won last week during qualifying by Nick Indelicato, his first Daytona 500 pole and his first Elite pole. He'll be alongside Tyler Popp. Tate Lytle will roll from P3, a former Daytona 500 winner there. Trey Holmes, the runner-up in his duel number 2, rolling from P4. Matthew Weeks, 3-time Daytona 500 champ, will go from 5th. He'll be alongside the Brit, William White, rolling from P6 tonight. From 7th, it will be Jonathan Cutlip, a guy who is a favorite here, but has not yet taken home the 500 crown. He'll be flanked by Ryan Gavel in row 4. Row 5, it'll be Gavin Hibbs alongside Chad Thernquist, two guys trying to make up their first Daytona 500 championship.
Couple of guys who have won at Daytona, but not in the 500 on row 6. Seth rolls to the inside. Jesse Racimas on the outside in the 12th position. We go back to row number 7. Dustin Dewar seeking his first Belly Up Sports Cup Series win in his 210th start. He'll be alongside last season's World 600 winner, Caleb Picumer. On the 8th row, Mark Revelis, he's won here before in the development series. He'll be looking for a Daytona 500 win. He's alongside a former Daytona 500 winner. That is Andrew Rucker. On the 9th row, it's another former Daytona 500 winner, Ethan Burrell. He'll start 17th. He'll be alongside Gavin Higgins, making his 50th career start. Rob Mooney, we saw him get top 10 at Echo Park Speedway last season. He'll start 19th alongside a South Shore Racing teammate and Ty McIntosh, who won here on Monday.
Connor Thompson Gardner's third consecutive Daytona 500 start for Shift Esports. He'll be alongside Brent Jones in row 11. Row 12, it'll be Corey Abbott. The Betflip podcast sponsored entry will be alongside Gerald Campbell, a former two-time champion of the series. 25th on the grid is Bojo Ray Brazy, responsible for a lot of the paints you see out there tonight. Michael Goodman will be flanking him in 26th, still looking for his first Belly Up Sports Cup Series win. It's Paul Mikulajczyk rolling from 27th. New team for that 77 Fueled Up Racing entry this year. He'll be flanked by Scott Crump, looking to make his first Daytona 500 win. Last year's winner, Daniel Falkingham, will roll from 29th. He'll be flanked by Trey Eidson, making his second 500 start for Shift Esports.
Chad Frankenfield won the inaugural Daytona 500 for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. He'll start 31st alongside Jaden Racimas, who ended his 2026 A season with a career best at Homestead. Carlos Acosta will start in the 33rd position. He'll be beside Michael Hosek in the 34th position. We go back to row 18. Justin Wadsworth, 2024 B Series champion, making his triumphant return. He'll be beside another Justin. That is Justin Vandermarl, winner at Echo Park Speedway a couple of years ago. Harrison Talon, former Daytona 500 pole winner. He'll start 37th. Ryan Borges lining up 38th. It does look like we've had somebody drop out of the field there. Daniel Gore, 39th. He'll be alongside Josh Adams to fill out row 20.
Row 21 is the three-time consecutive champion Blake Reynolds. He'll be flanked by former champion and former Daytona 500 champion Tyler Fody in 42nd, and lining up last on the grid as a late entry is a Leighton Norgard, the final driver to transfer in. I believe Josh Chin is the driver that he will be replacing here late. Cars are on the back straightaway. You can see him kind of very faintly there on your screen. We are pacing, I believe, for 3 laps here. Zach, after last week with the duels, the cars were very racy. Everything was a little bit chaotic. Then you look at the way this Speed Weeks has unfolded with several races of pure chaos. I can't help but think, especially how this Daytona 500 started last year, that we will see a lot more of that tonight. Hopefully these guys are able to sort things out, but I am expecting a wild 500 miles here tonight.
It's got to be very interesting for sure. I think we've seen a little bit of everything during this Speed Week, but especially this particular Cup car, this Cup platform, the runs are just so massive. You saw that. I mean, you saw it firsthand in the car during the duels 1 week ago, David. But I think this is the format out of the cars we've seen during the Speed Weeks where you have the most control of your own destiny, but that comes with a little bit more responsibility, being smart with those runs, knowing when you can take advantage of a situation, knowing when you need to just ride single file or double file and stay in line. And that's going to be the challenge tonight. It's not a 50-lap clash. It's not a 60-lap dual race. It's 200 laps, 500 miles to get to the end of the Daytona 500.
I've been preaching it all week long to my drivers, the races I've run. I've participated in a bunch of these as well. In order to win this race, you have to be there at the end, and you cannot win it on lap 1. Right? You have to time up your moves. You have to figure out when it is that it's going to be best to go. And we've seen a lot of impatience throughout this week. We've seen that result in quite a few incidents, wrecks, etc., that have resulted in some hurt feelings and frustrated drivers. But it all comes to a culmination. It's all for this race right here tonight. I think you will see a significant amount of aggression, but you'll also see some of that respect come into play as we run through the night here and get those lights on and wait to the end of this race. So as Nick Indelicato prepares to lead us to the green flag, Tyler Popp alongside him 43 cars looking for yet another one of our Daytona 500s here in Elite. New season, Zach. I'm excited to be in the booth with you. This is going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. Been looking forward to this one. Really, since we went off the air for the duels 1 week ago. I know that didn't go quite the way you hoped, but it was very entertaining and exciting up here in the booth working alongside James Watson. And now we get to kick off another exciting season here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series with what I think will be one of the best Daytona 500s in a long time.
That's absolutely right. So pace car heads for pit road.
No, it does not.
Next time by, the pit laps were off. The lights were off, so it totally got me. Got one to green. We were building it up, but all right, we got one more lap to discuss, and we don't usually do the race picks because there's not too much of a point to it. But since we've got a whole entire
It's
lap
500.
here,
Why not?
yeah, it's the Daytona 500. So with all the speed weeks in the thought process, Zach, and I'll give it to you first. Who's your race pick for tonight?
Gosh. I mean, this is such a stacked field. I mean, you've got guys that have run in the Coke Series. If I had to pick somebody though, I think it's got to be hard to pick against Matthew Weeks. I know that's kind of a cop out. You know, the guy that's won 3 of these before, but I think if you have to pick somebody to win a Daytona 500, you might as well go with the guy who has proven time and time again he knows what it takes to win this race and win these long distance, full distance races in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series.
I will go myself with the guy who finished second last season. I think Gavin Hibbs makes it happen. He also won at Talladega last year in the chase. He knows how to get it done. And he's got a lot of new team cars. I think that Fueled Up Racing stable with Daniel Falkingham and Paul Mikolajczyk added to the group is really going to provide him enough support to grab the race win. Dave Huck throwing Ryan Gable in the booth.
Oh,
I think that's the Huck's car. Obviously a great pick. I think Ryan Gable's going to be up front all night long, slicing and dicing. He's going to be a really good option, I think. So we'll also be following along. A lot of really strong cars starting in the back. You'll have to look for Blake Reynolds and Tyler Fody working their way to the front as this race goes on. Race car now heading for the apron, and we will start the 2026 B season here for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Nick Indelicato gets the green flag, and we are underway at Daytona. Early move by Chad Thernquist out of 10th, though that car has been suffering from some blinking woes. He drops back 3 wide up top. For now, it is that bottom lane, led by Indelicato, pushed by Tate Lytle. Tyler Pop, Trey Holmes working the outside lane. Thernquist slots back in and slams the door on Gavin Higgins.
It'll be very interesting to see, how do these guys approach these opening laps? Will it be about saving fuel? Will it be riding in line, or will we see some of those big moves like we saw in the duels and the clash? Certainly Tate Lytle on the move here as we get lap 2 underway. He jumps out in front with Matthew Weeks in tow on that outside lane.
So, and you mentioned how those duels worked. The runs, it takes a minute for this next gen car to pull up a run, but once you get one going, you kind of have to use it, because if you hold it off, you can't really go anywhere. You can see it, right? Matthew Weeks and Tate Lytle a little bit bogged down right there, and that's going to allow Jonathan Cutlip, Gavin Hibbs, now Seth Rawls to enter the top 5. Here comes Dusty Dewar working the bottom lane as well in the 32 car. Top. It's Jonathan Cutlip challenging for the race lead. He'll go for the lap lead here and get it at the line. Lead change number 1, Zach. I think we're going to have a lot of those tonight.
Oh, I think we're going to have many, many lead changes. I probably should have done a little more homework on that number coming into tonight's race, because I think we're going to see a bunch of them. If memory serves, we set a new record in last season's Daytona 500 in terms of lead changes, and that could be in jeopardy tonight.
Dustin Dewar pushed by Tate Lytle up to the back bumper of those Fueled Up Racing teammates leading the field. Shift Esports teammates leading the bottom lane right now as we run. I know we had at least one Daytona 500 with at least 80 lead changes back in, I think it was 2021 or so. So that number, if that number is on the table, this could be quite a wild race. Jonathan Cutlip currently leading. He leads lap number 3 here, but here comes his teammate. Gavin Hibbs drops to the bottom. He's got help from Dustin Dewar. Cutlip falls into the clutches of Tate Lytle, but Hibbs is going to jump right back up in front of his teammate, and that's going to leave Dusty Dewar hanging out to dry a little bit on the bottom. See if Nick and Delicato can give that 32 car a surge. He sure can. The front 4, though, on the outside lane are clear, and Zach, we've looked at a lot this speed weeks. That outside lane has been really, really strong with the latest draft updates for the racing cars. Now, I don't know that that's 100% true in the next gen, but for the ARCA car, for the Xfinity car, or the Grand National car, and then the truck, the outside lane was the way to go. Here comes Tate Lytle, the outside for second.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You'll have a better idea than me how this next gen holds up. But in the other stock cars we've seen throughout the week, the side draft has been so powerful and really given an advantage to the high side in these 2 wide battles. We'll see how that translates to this car. By the way, the 2026A Daytona 500. 97 lead changes, which was indeed the record. That might be a high bar to chase, but we're off to a good start.
The Cutlip back to the race lead. Big push from Trey Holmes, jumps back up in front of Tate Lytle. Yeah, that was last year's, as I recall, was chaotic. I was on the rollback though, about 50 laps into it, so I can understand, from having watched it, just how crazy that one was. And early on in this one, we're seeing a lot of the same, to the point on the lanes and the preferred lane. The thing about the next gen car that the other cars don't really have is that while the next gen, you can definitely side draft, and that is a factor. The next gen, the runs come and go, right? So you can gain energy, get a big run, and then that can kind of stall out. You can kind of see this in real time right now. You see Trey Holmes and Dusty Dewar had a really big run. That stalled out, but as soon as Tate Lytle jumps down and creates a little bit of an energy shift here, Trey's going to pull up to Tate, and that bottom lane may get that energy back. So there's a lot of push and pull, tug of war, where these guys are going to be fighting against each other all night long, but you're going to consistently see the bottom lane surge, the top lane surge. Guys will drop out of the top lane and then get replaced, and they'll jump up from the bottom and get replaced, and it'll continue to hear them all the way through the field, all the way through the night. Matthew Weeks to the bottom of the racetrack. As I say that, surges that bottom lane forward once again. Oh, Gavin Hibbs to the top of the racetrack. This is not a good spot for Gavin Hibbs. Jesse Racine backed off, and that allows Hibbs to drop back in, but the inside line surges way forward. Delicato shuffles Dusty Dewar to the outside, now goes top himself, got Seth Rawls in tow. Big push for the 4 car of Indelicato, the pole sitter. He rolls up to Matthew Weeks and Tate Lytle. He's alongside Lytle. Gable fits in behind Seth Rawls. Ryan Gable got a little sick of riding on the bottom of the racetrack. He jumps to the top lane. Big surge from those Shift Esports forwards, and Gable drafting in behind Rawls. Indelicato drops to the bottom. That'll allow Rawls to rocket to the race lead. Help from Gable, Dustin Dewar, and Jonathan Cutlip. Gerald Campbell 3 wide outside of Ray Bracey. That could get a little bit hairy. Looks like down this straightaway, though, that Gerald is going to drop back.
There's the producer's pick. Oh. Ryan Gable now trying to make that move on the inside with, well, I was about to say with Tyler Popp in tow, but Ryan got exactly where he wanted to be and didn't really care if Tyler Popp followed him.
Gable drops back to the bottom, now getting in front of that 13 car, the dual number 2 winner. That is definitely, I think, the 0-1. Huck makes the pick, he sponsors the car, but I think that's absolutely a pick to win this race. If Ryan can get to the end of the race, I think that's the big ticket for Ryan Gable. You see the moves he's making. Certainly one of the more aggressive drivers in the field, one of the more aggressive plate racers in the field. Very good at it, very smart, but he needs to get there.
Come on, Gable, it's too early to be doing this shit.
And there you go.
Of course, right. If you talk about, Ryan Gable's level of aggression, we see that all the time, not just at the super speedways, but across the season. And Matthew Weeks is about the opposite of that, when it comes to these long races. He wants to be there at the end. He doesn't care if he's leading right now. Mind you, he's in second right now. It's not like he's riding in 30th, but, that's kind of two different mindsets on display here on lap 11.
That's one of those things that you love to see the difference in mindset. I mean, obviously, Matthew Weeks, 3 Daytona 500 wins to Ryan Gable's none, but Gable's going to go out there and race every lap like it's the last, because that's just kind of the kind of driver he is. And you saw it on display in the duel. He and I were making some really good moves. I always feel very comfortable drafting with Gable because he makes a lot of the moves that I'm expecting him to make. But you have to know that, right? You have to be prepared behind the wheel to make that move. Jonathan Cutlip is making a big move right here, 3 wide top around Dustin Dewar. Before he gets shuffled out or shuffled back, I do want to shout out Mark Rebelos right there on the bottom right of your screen in that 99/96 car. This looks like it's just a 99 today, but
I think
Mark Rebelos
he played nicely tonight. Yes.
Yep. Mark Rebelos, great qualifying. Obviously had a really strong dual run, made it into the 500 on the strength of that run, and he started up front. He stayed up front thus far, but we're starting to get really dicey for the race lead. They're 3 wide, about 6 rows deep in front of Mark Rebelos here, so hopefully he can dodge any potential shenanigans that may arise. It's the fueled up racing cars. Jonathan Cutlip, Gavin Hibbs, and Jesse Racimus up top, followed by Ray Bracey trying to make that third lane work. Miller Pop takes the race lead. He's going to get challenged and passed by Seth Rawls here. Zach, I'll tell you, if Matthew Weeks thought that it was too early for Ryan Gable shifting lanes, I think it's way too early for this.
No, I'd agree with you. I'm kind of surprised to see 3 wide at this stage of the race, and especially a little bit of Dale Earnhardt Jr. there from Seth Rawls dropping to the bottom and then back up to the middle. But look, I mean, that's... it is the Daytona 500. I think it's, even in the B season, this race means so much to these guys. And let's just call a spade for a lot of drivers in the field. They may feel like this is their best chance to win a crown jewel here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. We have, over the course of the year, we have several full distance races that mirror the real life crown jewels, and we don't have to argue about what is or isn't a crown jewel like they do in real life last week. But we have those races, the Bristol Night Race, the World 600, the Southern 500, the Brickyard 400. Those only come around once a year, kind of close-ish to when they appear in the real-life calendar. You get 2 Daytona 500s. It's a super speedway race, so you have guys that, feel like they have a better chance of winning at a super speedway than at somewhere like Darlington or Indianapolis. It kind of adds the pressure for everyone in the field of 43.
Right, and it does crank up the prestige level, but you'll notice some guys have dropped closer to the rear of the field. Tate Lytle, Ethan Burrell, they saw this happening and headed backwards. But the counter strategy to that, you'll see that top lane, it's being led by Ray Bracey. The guy pushing him is Tyler Fody. He started dead last in the field. He's worked his way all the way up already into the top 15, and he'll be in the top 10 here before too long. He's already in the top 10 there. So just 15 laps for Tyler Fody to go from dead last on the starting grid up and into the top 10, and that does not shock me in the slightest. He was going to be aggressive, and he's given Ray Bracey a great push here up in this outside third lane. And Zach, we talk about the aggression level. You can see it right now. Guys are a little bit squirrely, but this isn't really the problem, right? If you're going to take the 3 wide lanes and stuff like this, it really isn't quite as severe as it looks on the production cam. It's when you start doing what those two are doing right there. I was just going to say it. When you start getting to the front and shuffling the lanes and start changing lanes, that's when it starts to get hairy, because now you're unpredictable. 3 wide, 3 deep. it's predictable. Everybody's going to stay in their lane, and they can't shuffle around and go anywhere. When they start changing lanes, that's when they come together and wrecks happen.
And probably of the main stock cars we have here in Elite, mirroring the real-life NASCAR series, the next year is probably the most stable in terms of doing the 2 wide and 3 wide, the super speedways, because of the underpinning, the aero, the wider tires. It's the one where you can make that stuff work. But again, with those runs we talked about, you've got to be so sure if you're going to throw a block. And you've got to be ready if the guy behind you decides he's still going to take the run. And that's where I think you're going to run into these issues if guys continue to make these moves from lane to lane.
And that's where you get the wrecks, right? Obviously, Nick Indelicato and Gavin Hibbs did not cause a big wreck right there, but they were able to keep the cars straight. But that is the type of move that's going to result in wrecks later in the race. For now, it's Nick Indelicato working to the outside of Trey Holmes and Gavin Hibbs. He's looking for the race lead with a big push from Ray Bracey. Bracey getting a big push from Tyler Fode. And if you've watched Speed Weeks at all this week, you know those Lake Norman cars pushing those South Shore Fords, that's a recipe for success as Tyler Fode shoves Ray Bracey out into the race lead.
It's weird seeing Ray Bracey in a darker colored car, especially as we're kind of under cover of cloud here to start this Daytona 500. Normally, Ray Bracey's car is the easiest one to spot in the field. Right now, it's easy to spot because it's leading the way.
Fode jumps to the outside of Ray Bracey. He'll shuffle that 7 car down to the bottom. Tyler Fode trying to look for the race leads. Got help from his teammate Ryan Gable. Bracey not a big shove from Nick Indelicato. Those Lake Norman Chevys working their way to the front. Tyler Fode, it took him 18 laps to go from 42nd starting spot on the grid to the race lead of the Daytona 500. And I said it on Twitter the other day. It's Caleb Acumer's 4 wide with Gavin Hibbs. That's not going to work, but it does through the tri-oval. Little bit of a dicey move there. I said Tyler Fode last on the starting grid, but that's probably one of the favorites if you had to pick one. I mean, he's won this race twice before, and he certainly has an opportunity to win it again today.
I mean, he's won everything, right? He's the winningest driver in series history, former champion, Daytona 500 winner, World 600 winner, Southern 500 winner, Brickyard 400 winner. He has done it all. We don't see him around as much anymore. He's scaled back to more of a part-time role. But when he shows up, he's playing for keeps. He's going to add to those records and that resume. I think he was probably the most surprising driver that we saw miss the Daytona 500 through the qualifying and the duels last week, but of course getting in as that first alternate when Johnny Thomas announced he would not be able to take part in tonight's race. And like you said, not really surprised to see how quickly he's been able to find his way to the front.
Right, and we talk about patience, trying to be there at the end. I think Tyler Fode is one of the best at understanding when the side-by-side aggression levels that you're seeing are not too much. Right? That's when you can start to make some hay. That's when it works out. As Ryan Gable getting a shove, and Nick Indelicato working to the bottom of the racetrack, they will take the lead. But Tyler Fode knows just about as best as anybody when it's time to go race versus when it's time to ride. He can definitely ride. He can definitely figure that out. But he's the kind of guy that wants to go to the front and stay at the front. And you've seen it's difficult to stay at the front. Nick Indelicato is about the only guy who started up there. Ryan Gable is maybe another one, but I mean, we've seen a ton of shuffling back and forth early in this race. I mean, Jonathan Cutlip's nowhere to be found. Tate Lytle's nowhere to be found, but he's back there intentionally. It's just, this is going to be a race of shuffling, of patience, of nailing your green flag pit stops. There's a ton that's going to go into winning this race, more than just, who can get to the front the fastest, because like you said, we're only, a tenth of the way through already.
And you talk about those green flag pit stops, kind of a new wrinkle for everyone for this season's Daytona 500 is one of those recent iRacing updates. It seems like an iRacing update always comes up in the Daytona 500 conversation, even with it happening every 6 months or so here in the Elite Racing League. But this time around, that's 3 wide for the lead. Tyler Fode making the move there around Nick Indelicato. That puts him in the middle with a push from Justin Wadsworth, another heck of a storyline, but we'll get to that in a second. But to my point about the pit stops, with this more recent update, tire changes happen a lot quicker So that's got to change the complexion of those green flag pit stops. I think
My
more guys
goodness.
will be taking tires under those green flag pit stops than we normally see because you can afford to do so. But I don't know if we're going to make it that far at the rate we're racing at right now.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit hectic right now. Ryan Gable got the boot from the Fueled Up Racing number 80 of Jesse Racimus, who is scaling back to a part-time role this week, but that means he is all hands go for another opportunity at another Daytona win. Racimus, a former winner at Daytona, not a former Daytona 500 winner, that is. He won the half-distance race in the summer, but definitely one to watch out for here tonight, being pushed by his teammate Justin Vandermarl there on the bottom. Carlos Acosta in line with those guys, as well as Michael Goodman. And while they're up in the top 10, I do want to shout them out, having a good run early. Loving the Bobby Hamilton throwback on Carlos Acosta's car. It is really sticking out very nicely amongst the field with that light blue.
Carlos Acosta making his 60th career start tonight. Best finish of 8th in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. That came in the 2025 B season at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah, Carlos is he's been running a lot more next gen as well. We went and found us a next gen league to run over the summer here, and he ran with my team, and we've had it. And he obviously has joined South Shore on a full-time capacity here in the Cup Series, and he's really getting around the tracks quite well at this point. I think he's going to be due in for a couple of really strong runs this season. I think he's doing a really good job of understanding the car control a little bit better and trying to get away from kind of the moniker that he's lost the car a little bit over the last couple of seasons. But I think that's come with low experience in this next gen, and he's starting to get to that point where he can take a step and get some experience and run in the top 10 in the Daytona 500, which is what he's doing right now.
I think Carlos, for lots of guys on iRacing, that this isn't exclusive to him by any means. The next gen is just so different from really anything else stock car wise on the service, and he's one of those guys that had been around, or I guess he's still been around. It's not like he stopped. That before I was on iRacing, he was not one of the people that showed up during COVID, right? You could, he was here in 2017, 2018, so. When you have years and years and years of learning how those kinds of cars operate, this next gen has been a huge learning curve for some of those more tenured iRacing members.
Yeah, I mean, it's very new, right? It feels different, and Carlos is doing a great job right now. So is Michael Goodman drafting behind him. So is Brent Jones drafting behind him. Carlos tried to go take that run from Justin Vandermarl. Goody gave him a nice checkup there, but that's the kind of move that might cause a wreck later in the race when there's a lot less give and take. Fortunately for Carlos and Goody, no harm, no foul, and Justin Vandermarl is going to rocket up to the race lead with a push from Ryan Gable. Yeah, to your point, I mean, just like I said, having run a few races in this next gen car, and we'll make more of a note of it when we get away from Daytona, because Daytona is such a separate animal to anything else that this car is going to do. I'm excited to give some insights because I've at least participated in a few different styles of racetrack with this car and understand a little bit better how it drives and how it feels. And hopefully I'm able to convey that a little better over the broadcast. As Ryan Gable got the lead, Tyler Fode jumps up in front of Justin Vandermarl. He's going to want this race lead. Look at these Lake Norman Chevys trying to control the lanes. Justin Wadsworth with a fantastic push to the rear end of the Ryan Gable machine, and going to rock it down here to the line. I think that inside line is going to prevail once again, but look at the train of cars behind as we get a flyby here. I mean, what is that, Zach? Single file from 20th on back?
Thereabouts.
24th on back is single file in this race. That is half the field just electing to ride, electing to wait. I think that is a perfectly solid move, but Zach, I'll tell you what, when it's me and when this thing settles out and kind of organizes like this is when I want to make some moves and I want to start moving back to the front, because you can fall off the pack during a pit cycle. If things are nice and orderly right now, like they look to be, even if they're 2x2, I mean, they're still pretty orderly. Now's the time to go make a move, get up in the pack.
Definitely a catch-22. I think what helps if you are riding right now is you're saving a little bit more fuel. So hopefully you can time that move with when some of these guys that are burning fuel are the first ones on the pit road, and try to pick up spots that way. Because you're absolutely right. If you're further back like this, especially single file, that takes away your margin of error on that green flag pit stop for even the slightest hiccup, whether it be locking up the brakes, trying to get down to pit road speed, or sliding through your box, or just not getting a good run through 1 and 2 on the apron while getting back up to speed. You're already, every margin counts in these green flag pit stops, and you're giving up some of that margin if you are running 25th or 30th single file like this.
I mean, and you look back, I mean, there's 4 seconds separating the lead and the back of the draft. I mean, we usually see that a lot tighter. And when you're that far back, it's going to be easy to lose connection exiting pit road. And I think we will see some of that when we get down to pit stops. So this, for me, is time to go, right? This is the time to start moving forward. Some of the guys we're seeing starting to move forward, they haven't been there yet. Josh Adams, who qualified, who wrecked in the duel, wound up starting quite far back in the field. Starting 40th, he's up to 4th. Got Justin Wadsworth, we've obviously mentioned him a couple of times already. Scott Crump has risen up from 28th starting spot. He's up here in 6th. And then, yeah, so some of these guys are starting to really get to the front of the field. Matthew Weeks is starting to make moves. He had fallen to the rear of the field, but he is moving his way back forward. He is 3 wide top right now alongside Carlos Acosta and Brent Jones. It's not going to work for Weeks, but Weeks looks to be, he complained about the aggression a little bit earlier, but I think now is about the time where you start to see a guy like Matthew Weeks start to try to position himself near the front of the field for the pit stop.
And right now he is working that outside lane. He does not have a lot of help at the moment, but trying to get something going here. He'll tuck back in line there in that middle lane behind Carlos Acosta and then try to get another run. And this time it looks like it'll be, I believe that's Jaden Racimas tucked in behind it.
It is indeed, as Scott Crump takes the lead at the line. Another Lake Norman Chevy with the race lead. Matthew Weeks trying to get back up there. He and Ray Bracey a little bit tight here in the center of turns 1 and 2. One car now to help the 11 of Matthew Weeks. Jaden running for the Abbott Motorsports team. Weeks on the Pro Edge stable. Front 4, now front 5 have singled out. Ray Bracey jumped to the bottom. Josh Adams also jumped to the bottom. Jesse Racimas moves topside to try and go up there and restart that outside lane. It is not going to work for now. That inside lane very strong at the moment with that 3 wide racing in the middle of the pack. You can see just how much it has dropped Matthew Weeks, Carlos Acosta, and those others as this inside lane evens out.
I mean, it has really strung out this field. I have to imagine we'll see something from that middle of the pack to surge forward here as they build back up. But right now it is really strung out this field. I have to imagine we're getting closer within about 5 to 10 laps of some green flag pit stops now.
I think so too. We're respecting about 40 laps to the tank, so these are going to start. The leader probably burns a little less fuel. That's probably some Tyler Fode, Ryan Gable. Some of those other guys are probably a little bit less to the good when it comes to the fuel, and those guys riding in the back of the field that we talked about, like Tate Lytle and Ethan Burrell and some of the others that we really haven't said their names yet thus far. Those guys are 100% probably going to be able to make it to maybe lap 42.
I'm done lifting from the 7 car, just a fair warning.
Oh, Josh Adams sideways in front of the field. That is going to be a crash. Nick and Delicato into the wall. Caution is out. Gavin Higgins involved. Everybody scatters. I think Dusty Dewar got sideways but saved it. Right as we mentioned it, Josh Adams, Tyler Fode, Justin Wadsworth all got together. I think it was a bad push, maybe from Carlos Acosta, that kicked that one off. Nick gets onto this transition, and I've hit this before. In the next gen car, that transition, even a little bit, and the car goes sliding. Nowhere for Delicato to go. Gavin Higgins, an innocent bystander. This was a reaction to the wreck that occurred in front of them. It was Josh Adams Justin Wadsworth, Carlos Acosta, I believe, that this off.
Yeah, definitely in Delicato, kind of reacting to the incident in front of him, or what we thought was going to be the incident in front of him.
Yeah, there it is.
And this is you. I believe you may have called this on the button, and we've seen this a couple of times, both in the clash and the duels throughout Speed Weeks. Just a slight mistiming on that push on corner exit from Carlos Acosta to Josh Adams. That spins Adams down into Justin Wadsworth, which kind of straightens Adams out, and then everybody else is able to pretty much gather it up and carry on from this point forward. But obviously we saw Indelicato caught a piece of the apron, and that turned him into the outside wall.
So no green flag pit stop on the first round. Everybody will get a chance to come down pit road here and take some fuel, maybe put some tires on it if they so choose, and fix some of that damage that we just saw get acquired. So we will go ahead and grab our first commercial break of the night and be back shortly for the restart.
The 5th annual Enjoy Illinois 300 is roaring into Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday, September 13th, bringing NASCAR Cup Series racing to the most challenging track on tour. Watch the world's greatest drivers battle it out in high-speed, side-by-side action. But it's more than a race, it's a full weekend experience. Whether you're a lifelong NASCAR fan or just looking for an unforgettable gateway getaway, get your tickets now at www.raceway.com.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Welcome back to the Daytona 500, the 15th running of that race for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Scott Crump, your race leader after pit stops. Philip Acumer will line up alongside him as his teammate in second. Then it'll be Matthew Weeks, Carlos Acosta, Justin Vandermarle, Josh Adams, Michael Goodman, Ray Bracey, Evan Hibbs, and Jaden Rosimus, the top 10. Caution call was racing incident there after Carlos Acosta and Josh Adams made a little bit of contact. Swung Adams' car sideways, but did not result in the caution flag coming out. And then Delicato got a piece of the apron and slid up into Gavin Higgins, resulting in the yellow flag being thrown. Cars still running on the racetrack after that, and we'll get ready to race for stage 1, Zach.
Absolutely. Gotta be. I mean, we've accidentally kind of split this stage in half. End of lap 65 will be the end of the first stage. A slight difference for fans tuning into the Belly Up Sports Cup Series for the first time from real life NASCAR competition. No stage yellows when we get to those stage numbers. Well, let me rephrase that. No intentional yellow. We can wreck on lap 65 trying to earn stage points.
Right.
Then it'll be a yellow, but otherwise we'll stay green.
Planned yellows at that point.
Yes.
Pace car heads back down pit lane. It'll be Scott Crump out in front. He gets to the restart zone and fires off. Good restart for the 90. He's most certainly going to drop down and pick up his teammate Caleb Becumer, which kind of leaves Carlos Acosta out to dry in that outside lane. Weeks pushing Becumer. See if Costa can get down in front of Vandermarl. He cannot, and that's going to keep him hung out just a little bit here. His teammate Ray Bracey's going to pick him up. See if that outside line starts to surge back forward. It already is. Matthew Weeks is going to go pick up Carlos Acosta. He'll have help from Justin Vandermarl, and all of a sudden those two Lake Norman Chevys sitting ducks just a little bit on this restart. Here comes Weeks. Push from Vandermarl, and he'll have the South Shore cars in tow. Trying to get up here and lead the laps. They will clear the Lake Norman Chevys by a while. It's 4 cars clear. Costa to the bottom, help from Bracey. You can see just how quick things change, though, right? That run was really big for the bottom lane. Those guys jump down to the bottom. All of a sudden, the run starts to stall just a little bit. They'll regain it some on the back straightaway here, but just not quite attached enough, I think, to make that move and actually get up and clear those guys. Michael Goodman on the apron, entering turn 3.
Yeah, I think he had blinked. No, he blinked out, so he had. He might be struggling to hang on to it, but he had blinked out down the backstretch and realized the issue he was in. Unfortunately, I know that feeling all too well from earlier this week, and that's going to hurt Michael Goodman a lot, but the alternative could have been a lot worse if he had stayed in the middle of that pack where nobody could see him.
Yeah, we saw that with the Monday race. We had a car, drop to the bottom, try to run the apron, come back up and into the track as Josh Adams bailing on this front pack. He's heading to the back of the field, but we had that happen. The car slid up into the pack, didn't reduce their speed enough, but I chalked that up to some inexperience, right? Goody's one of the most experienced drivers in the field, so he knew how much speed to reduce it on to keep from running up and into the pack. So it's good on Michael Goodman, though he is, I think, going to go a lap down if this race stays green for any length of time here.
You talk about experience. Goody, second all-time on the starts list in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. He'll hit that 250 career start milestone at some point this season. I would imagine this is number 244 for him. So, yeah, Goody definitely has the starts to understand what to do with the car when such a blinking issue comes out. And fortunate for him, but he will, I think, have a chance to get the lucky dog if he does happen to go a lap down here in a few laps. Teammate Dusty Dewar's trying to work the outside lane. He's got help from Paul Mikolajczyk and Daniel Gore. First time we've mentioned Daniel Gore and Mikolajczyk both. Now the South Shore Fords from the bottom lane jump up to the top in front of that group, try to get to the outside of Matthew Weeks. Carlos Acosta leading that duo. He's got Ray Bracey behind him. I mention it quite a bit. This South Shore team has put together some really strong performances this week, Zach. They've won each of the last 2 races. It's a group you're going to want to keep your eye on here at Daytona. We seem to have something cooking. And a lot of the guys on this team are, let's just be honest, very hungry after a disappointing 2026 A Cup season. I mean, Ty McIntosh, I feel like we were speaking to him out of the Infield Care Center almost every week last season. Daniel Gore, incredibly streaky season, had some very good runs, especially on the road courses, but then just really not the end of the season he hoped for. We've talked about, Carlos Acosta, just a lot of guys with a lot to prove on that team this season.
And I think as Acosta and Bracey start to move for the lead, I do want to shout Ray Bracey out. He is a really underrated, very strong plate racer. definitely could not have performed the way we did last night without him. He's very steady at the front of this field right now. I'm certain coaching Carlos Acosta through leading this lane. It's not a familiar position for Carlos Acosta, but Ray Bracey's been here. He has been near the front of this Daytona 500 field a number of times, qualified second a couple of seasons ago, has a top 10 in this race. He is certainly one of the options if you were going to pick a dark horse to win this race. However, right, they're split apart right now. That 3-wide lane really sapping the energy from this middle groove. It's allowing that inside lane to surge forward. Clear are Caleb Pecumer. Now Trey Eidson is clear. Gerald Campbell and Brent Jones working their way clear on the bottom of the racetrack. Here's the push from Ray Bracey. I hadn't seen him actually bump drafting Carlos Acosta very much, though I'm sure Carlos had mentioned a little bit of the apprehension because of the incident with Josh Adams.
Ooh.
One thing I do want to mention is we saw Paul Mikolajczyk jump to the bottom from behind those guys. This was Zach was mentioning since we were on board. You'll see that 77 driving up alongside Carlos Acosta here. New feature in iRacing for these drivers is a visual spotter, which has 2 lights that say car high or car low. Whenever you happen to be clear of that car. And in a pack, that is very, very valuable information, given that the iRacing spotter isn't particularly viable and isn't calling you 3 wide, noting when you're clear or not clear of the other car. But the light turns on when you're clear, or turns off when you're clear. Paul Mikolajczyk, I mean, there was exactly a car's width, but the light was off. He can move down, and that's something that these drivers are utilizing. I certainly have utilized it myself. Especially in these pack races, you now have a sizable amount of information from that particular feature that allows you to know exactly when it is time to move in front of a lane. Is a big push from Gerald Campbell into Trey Eidson. Almost a wiggly moment there as Justin Wadsworth with a big push from Carlos Acosta and Ray Bracey. That surges the outside lane forward. Wadsworth up to block. Almost. It's going to stack the field up. Jonathan Cutlip in the wall. Daniel Falkingham into the wall. Caution is out. Move from Vandermarl is what stacked the field back, but it was his teammates that got taken out in this one. I don't know that their damage is too bad, though, Zach. Falkingham didn't hit the wall all that hard.
Yeah, I think Falkingham will be fine here in terms of damage. That one might have hurt a little bit more.
I didn't see the second one there. That might have actually been on the wheel. That would be the one that would cause damage.
Obviously, he would scrubbed off some speed, but the sensitive area on these cars are those corners, basically. Right front tire, left front tire, left rear, right rear. And I think the first hit was a little more on the nose. You can live with that. We can fix the body damage, but I think you're right. I'm worried about that hit to the right front the second time. I think you can even tell a little bit. It's not quite driving as straight as he pulls away from Jonathan Cutlip after that incident. We'll see what the damage report is for our defending Daytona 500 winner, but that certainly gives me a little bit of pause for concern.
Yeah, for sure. It's not good for Falkingham. Hopefully the damage isn't too bad that he's able to continue and try to go out and win this race. I want to go on board.
Dave,
that did not help us there. Dave, if we could go on board through that wreck with Blake Reynolds, that would be the one I would like to see. I believe Blake Reynolds found a ramp there in turn 3 and caught some air and just about wiped it out. Let's go from here because I think we're going to see him. He turns all the way to the inside wall here, but he does not reduce his speed much at all. And just about wipes it out here.
Is not level. Yeah, that's we've seen that go worse before. I think we've seen it go worse before this week, honestly.
3-time champ had an adventure through the infield right there. He definitely caught some air in that moment as well.
He went from Daytona to Volusia real quick.
Check this out. I mean, this is He's going to hit the grass right there. I mean, all four wheels are off the ground for Blake Reynolds. Rob Mooney and Tyler Fode got down there, but they got on the apron and were able to sneak by and reduce their speed. Blake Reynolds is still not on the ground as he comes back up the track. He's really quite fortunate he didn't run into anybody there, because had he gone up and clobbered Rob Mooney or Tyler Fode, I mean, that could very well be a severe damage tally.
Absolutely.
An adventurous moment, and Reynolds has spent a lot of time in the pits. I do wonder if it's possible to get that underside body damage to your car if you're bouncing up and down and sliding up the racetrack. I'm not sure how iRacing handles that, but he's been sitting in the pits for a minute, which would tell me he's got some damage. Not too long though. He's already out. So our repairs screen shows 35 seconds. I'm guessing, 10 seconds of fuel is probably 25 seconds worth of damage from all that sliding and jostling for Blake Reynolds. A bunch of cars did pit. Go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, that's going to set us up for about a 15-lap run to the end of the stage break as we look at that pit stop information you were about to talk about.
That's what I was looking for. I was going to try to lead Dave into it, but there it is. Looks like 8 cars have stayed on the racetrack looking for stage points. Justin Wadsworth will take over the race lead of that. Caleb Pecumer second, Trey Eidson third, Scott Crump fourth, Jesse Racimus fifth, Mikolajczyk sixth, Chad Frankenfield, who has stayed out for the stage points in every race he's been able to do so this week. Ethan Burrell will stay out as well. We saw him miss his pit box last time and restarted that last run in the back of the field and was able to dodge the wreck and now move up into the top 10 looking for some stage points. First car off pit road was Matthew Weeks in 9th and Justin Vandermarl in 10th. And the same guys that were up near the front right there. So Jaden Racimus, Josh Adams, Ray Bracey, Carlos Acosta, Ty McIntosh, Gerald Campbell will be looking to go and grab those stage points as well.
Before we go back green, go ahead.
I think that was Blake Reynolds' first time ever touching grass.
I've never touched grass.
Make a note, as Blake Reynolds said, he did have the adventure there under the caution. He and Jonathan Cutlip and Daniel Falkingham will all be restarting from well back in the field on this restart, and I think none of them will be getting stage points, which certainly sets up the beginning of this regular season before our chase at the end of the year for a bit of a twist and turn, as I believe last year, Zach, Daniel Falkingham started from I think a near perfect race in the Daytona 500. He was up in the top group in both stages, picked up a bunch of points, and was able to parlay that into a very successful regular season. It didn't work out for him in the chase.
Absolutely. And he needed all those points because at the time he was an open car. Now he's got that charter. We're getting ready to go back green, though, with Justin Wadsworth leading the field.
Justin Wadsworth leading 14 laps till stage number 1 concludes here for Justin Wadsworth. He and Trey Eidson with a strong run up the inside lane. There's a bit of a gap there, but Scott Crump staying with his teammate for now. Caleb Pecumer trying to side draft Trey Eidson and lead that outside line. Energy already picking up. You can see it is getting down to getting some points. Pushes are a lot stronger now, and guys are going to, I think, go for those stage points here and then maybe re-rack themselves a little bit once we get to lap 65. Tyler Fode outside, 3 wide top. He's got help from Ryan Gable, and that's going to kickstart, I think, the big movement here to close out this stage.
A lot of guys are going to be hungry for those stage points here. I still feel like we're a long way from the end of that stage, but like you say, guys are going to want to start getting towards the front of the field, getting in position. And there you see, I believe that's Josh Adams has jumped in front of that outside lane in front of Tyler Fode. Yes, it is in the 22 car.
Adams up in front of Fode, and then it's Pecumer dropping to the bottom. That opens up Scott Crump to lead the middle lane. He's got help from Mikolajczyk. Wadsworth pushing, Caleb Pecumer in a couple of orange cars. Now Wadsworth pushes himself clear and jumps to the outside of Caleb Pecumer. 3 wide for the lead. Josh Adams goes zooming by on the outside lane. He restarted 12th. He's already up in the lead. 3 by 3, they roll through 3 and 4, and just like that, this race has gone right back to crazy, as it were. Tyler Fody, I think Tyler Fody might have restarted about 20th, and he is already back up into second, and he and Ryan Gable have been hyper-aggressive when it has counted thus far, and they will go after Josh Adams and grab the race lead. Trump into Pecumer, teammate on teammate violence there in the middle of the pack. No harm, no foul. Pecumer roars forward inside lane with a big push. Ray Holmes back to the front of the field. He had mentioned his plan was to try to stay up front all race long, kind of dropped back with his Pro Edge teammates early in the race, but he is back up here fighting for the stage points in the middle lane in that 23 car.
You can tell those pushes are getting a lot harder because when we see those head-on shots, whether it be down the backstretch or coming out turn 4.
Oh, man.
Oh, yep. That's what I was going to talk about, how those cars are moving around a lot more as a result of those pushes. You can tell it's getting a lot more aggressive as they're trying to generate these runs. And that one may have been just a little bit too much to chew on.
Caleb Pecumer and moved up in front of Justin Wadsworth, just about cut him off, or Trey Holmes just about cut him off. Holmes had to yield the spot, and again, that we're still early in the race. Holmes able to make that call. Hey, we'll get it back. He's got William White pushing him now in the top lane. You can get it back, but you have to be careful with that because then you won't make it to the end of the race if you are making those kinds of moves. Now, Daniel Falkingham trying to show this 39 car is not too badly damaged. He moves out in front of Trey Holmes, and Falkingham has decided it's go time because there's points on the line. He starts to roll the top lane. You wonder how much damage is on the right front of that 39 car. It doesn't look like it's generating a ton of speed, but I bet if it's pushing, it might be all right because now Justin Wadsworth's up in front of him. Also moving forward is Blake Reynolds. He is in the green car in the middle lane, just alongside Daniel Falkingham. So last season's kind of dominant drivers, Falkingham and Reynolds, working their way back towards the front after kind of both being involved in the same wreck on the back straightaway, and they're making it happen. Right now, I mean, Falkingham is pushing Wadsworth, but nothing's happening. And that's something that definitely is a feature of this next-gen car is you just can't build a run with certain cars. In the dual race on last Wednesday, I was drafting with, I think it was Kwame Scott. Him and I got hooked together. He didn't go anywhere, right? And then I hooked together with Ryan Gable, and we zoomed to the front. So it just, sometimes you get hooked together with a car, and it's just not a car that works together well with your car.
That's kind of the game within the game a lot of times with plate racing, right? Figuring out whether it be the car or just the way you want to move about in the pack, finding the people that you can work with and you like working with. There are lots of people that, sure, they're very good and get good results at these super speedway races, but they're just not people that I'm compatible with when I'm on the track with them when it comes to this style of racing. I think you kind of learned that over the course of 500 miles. And for a lot of these guys, they've raced with each other so much in this series. They know who they can work with and who they can't. But for a lot of guys, maybe it's their first Daytona 500. For some of them, maybe getting ready for a first true effort at going cup racing, and it's kind of a new adventure.
I think a lot of these guys have been running together a long time. There's a lot of familiarity at the front of this field right now. Ryan Gable to the race lead. Scott Crump working with him. Look at Scott Crump and Matthew Weeks drafting together right now up at the front of this field. Jonathan Cutlip and Daniel Falkingham working the outside lane. That 3 wide has finally worked. It was Cutlip and Falkingham that needed to be the ones pushing together up in that top groove. It's working now. In middle lane, falling back. Outside lane, surging forward. Adams rockets to the middle. Cutlip has to get in line behind him. That was a near miss moment. It works out for now, but they're just absolutely going nuts here heading towards this stage. Falkingham there just about side drafting his teammate, the 5 of Jonathan Cutlip, and that's going to really shuffle this field up a little bit. 39 car looks like it's damaged, but he's really holding on strong right now. I can't tell exactly how bad it is.
It seems to be good enough, right?
Yeah.
He's managed to work his way up here, and now Jonathan Cutlip's got to jump in front of him, and that might help the 39 car if it has any nose damage or anything like that to get it out of the air and tuck in behind Jonathan Cutlip, who now is behind
Got Crump.
Scott Crump.
Crump leading the outside lane. Adams leading the middle. Adams leading the bottom. Adams pushed by Weeks and Bracey. Crump pushed by Cutlip, Falkingham, Mikolajczyk, 3 fueled up racing cars all in a row up in that top groove. And it is now back to 2x2. The Wadsworth, Holmes, White trio in the top groove has kind of fallen back a little bit outside the stage points. Your championship favorites, Falkingham, Reynolds, those guys are back into the points picture here in the stage. They have made it happen with just 6 laps to go in the stage. And here comes Jonathan Cutlip, help from Falkingham. I'll tell you, those guys in the bottom lane, Tyler Fody, Caleb Pacuma, Ray Bracey, I mean, Ryan Gable, they got trapped down there. They can't go anywhere right now. And that's one of the big issues with that inside lane. You get up to the front, you jump to the bottom, you think everything's going to be good, and then everybody rolls on past you on the outside, and you're kind of like, why did I come down here? you forgot. That's how you got up to the front, was passing those guys on the bottom. It's a feature plate racing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just kind of one of those, you go with the flow sometimes. Sometimes it catches you by surprise how quickly you get to the front, and sometimes you look at the timing and scoring, you say, how did I get to 25th? What happened?
Yep.
I was 7th 3 laps ago. When did I end up here?
Right. Especially coming to the stage. I mean, you've got to be on it right now, but no third lane occurring at the moment as Paul Mikolajczyk has pushed to the race lead. He has help from Blake Reynolds, who has gone through the grass and driven up to the lead. He's going to get help from Scott Crump to go around Mikolajczyk at the line. That's going to shuffle and squirrel this field up. That might actually open up the bottom to make some run. Weeks up to the back bumper of Mikolajczyk. Crump to the top to go around Reynolds. Adams chooses Reynolds. Cutlip works with Crump. That's going to squirrel up the bottom lane. They have to check. Outside's all tucked up. Inside's tucked together. Scott Crump still leading this race. He is really quite good at winning these stages. Zach, I think he won 2 or 3 stages last year that I don't want to say he had no business winning, but he found a way to win stages quite a bit last season. Really helped him, overcome some bad results to get into the chase. He's working both lanes right now, trying to win this first stage here in the Daytona 500.
You touch on those bad results. I mean, it kind of took me by surprise when I was doing some homework ahead of tonight's race. Scott Crump only had 2 top 10s and never finished into top 5 at any point during our 26A season.
That's coming off of a 26B where he won 2 races and was in the championship contention right up until the end of the season. I mean, it seems like he's kind of a boomer bust driver, right? And you see that when he's up here fighting for these stage wins. This is the kind of thing. He's looking for those points to try to overcome some of that craziness. He's just holding it in front of Blake Reynolds. Reynolds continuing to try to find a way by. He finally gets to the outside of Crump, gets the push from Jonathan Cutlip. Reynolds and Crump side by side for the race lead. Crump tried to throw the block, could not get it done.
That tends to not be very popular. I will say you make the one move, sure. The second move usually raises the ire of your competitor and can sometimes get you turned around facing the wrong way.
It almost happened for sure to Scott Crump. Now Blake Reynolds is out in front of Crump. Jonathan Cutlip to the outside. He'll be looking for an opportunity at the stage win in his attempt to go win this championship. Reynolds, we know, 3 consecutive championships in this series. Not planning to race full time. Oh, Crump gets to the outside of Reynolds. He managed to get there. 2 to go in the stage. Here comes Weeks looking to the outside of Jaden Racimus. He'll have help from Chad Frankenfield. Bucks back in line. Matthew Weeks is looking for that outside lane surge, though. I think he's waiting maybe till this final lap to take that run and jump all the way up to the outside. But no energy coming from Justin Wadsworth and Chad Frankenfield up top. So Weeks stays in line, about fourth or fifth in line right now. And he's one of those cars you're going to have to look for as they come down to pay the points next time around. Scott Crump has the race lead. Cutlip to the outside, looking for the lead at the line. He will get it. Still one more lap here in stage one.
Coming back to the green and checkered next time. Right now, Jonathan Cutlip ahead of Daniel Falkingham and Jaden Racimus in that middle lane. Can that inside lane build anything up? Can that outside lane get rolling?
Matthew Weeks and Justin Vandermarl are looking to go for it. Falkingham cuts to the bottom of the racetrack. Jaden Racimus will now be on the rear bumper of Jonathan Cutlip, looking to decide this first stage. The push from Matthew Weeks into the rear of the 1-5 and 39 Fueled Up Racing teammates side by side for the stage win. Scott Crump trying to shove Falkingham clear. Daniel Falkingham with damage and all rockets off of turn 4. I think he's going to do it. Cutlip surges back with the push from Racimus, but it's going to be Daniel Falkingham winning stage 1. Crash back to the lead for Falkingham.
Oh, and now they're going to be 3 wide.
Getting points, Crump, Cutlip, Reynolds, Jaden Racimus, Josh Adams, Matthew Weeks, Paul Mikolajczyk, Ray Bracey, and Ryan Gavel picking up those points. Good work for that group. Just missing out. Vandermarl, Campbell, Eidson, Hibbs, Pecumer. Chad Frankenfield was up there close. He came across the line 23rd last time.
And of course, he was one of those drivers that stayed out in hopes of picking up those stage points. So if this goes green, he's got to be, I mean, any of those guys that stayed out are going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of fuel mileage, but he really didn't get the benefit of either side of the sword on that.
And Gavel, 10th at the stage, already back up to the race lead. Mikolajczyk leading that middle lane. Now Reynolds goes to clear off Mikolajczyk. And, we mentioned that we cut the stage just about in half. I mean, we are not too far away from a pit stop being required, but you'll note there are only about 28 or so cars in this lead pack. We had a whole group slough off, and they're about 11 seconds behind right now. Another triumvirate of 3 are back about 5 seconds behind this main pack, and green flag pit stops not too far away. That does bode poorly for that entire group that's been kind of hoping that this front group would wad them up for the stage and ultimately take some of their competition out of the race and catch them back up.
How many points would you get in Scrabble for triumvirate?
Depends on if you've put the V on a triple word or a triple letter, yeah?
Yeah. That'd be the way to do it for sure.
Scott Crump, Ryan Gavel, the teammates for Lake Norman Motorsports have pushed to the race lead. The fueled up teammates there, Falkingham and Cutlip, rolling to 3rd and 4th. Bracey now pushing Jaden Racimus as Gavel jumps to the top. He'll go around his teammate, Scott Crump. And those Lake Norman fellas, they've worked together pretty well, but I would say they have not been dedicated to one another in the slightest, which is that's about on par, I think, with what we see from that stable. They are very much independent racers, working, go out there and do what's best for them to win the race. And seen them draft together a little bit, but I mean, Ryan Gavel just went around Scott Crump, and they're obviously trying to control both lanes, but it's not going to be real long before Daniel Falkingham cuts to the bottom in front of Crump, and now Crump's pushing different car past his teammate. It's here it comes right now.
Last season, the 2026 A Daytona 500, we had more of what I would call a conveyor belt, is what me and James Watson kept calling it, where you'd see the middle lane would get 3 or 4 cars out in front, and then somebody would drop to the bottom. And then the middle lane would drive past that guy.
Oh, my.
Down to the bottom. Boy, yeah. Uh-huh.
Phillip goes to help Blake Reynolds, who made a move way up to the outside lane, got hung out there. ends up going to cost that 66 car. Crump took the opportunity, got a big push from Mikolajczyk, zips to the lead. Gable will follow in behind. Here comes Paul Mikolajczyk for the lead at the line. He'll take over the top spot. But he's not going to have any help. The Lake Norman teammates line up in that middle lane and go drafting right on by the fueled up number 77.
I believe that's 12 drivers we've already had lead laps so far tonight. Paul Mikolajczyk disappointed he did not make it 13 that time by.
Mikolajczyk and I think Ray Bracey would be two that could certainly add to that total that are up here in this front group. And I mean, you saw it already. A lot of lead changes. This race has been extremely competitive from the drop. It could calm down if we get closer to green flag pit stops, though. I think there's a real distinct possibility that we're going to start to see guys migrate to the bottom pretty soon. He'd change again. Here comes Ryan Gable around his teammate. Aiden Racines hasn't gotten up there and led a lap, though, has he? I don't think he has, but it can't be far away for that one car. He has had a very, very strong run here, and mentioned Michael Goodman's winless drought. Jaden Racines has one of the higher winless droughts in the elite racing.
Well, it might happen right here.
Yeah, he's looking for the race lead. Got a big push from Mikolajczyk. Gable drop down. Here comes Jaden Racines, new race leader. He is. I cracked a 224 yesterday. Jaden Racines he's above me. He's over 250-ish, 240-ish total starts across all elite series. Still looking for his first win. Certainly could be the day. He has had a very strong run early. Outside lane, getting some big steam. Pro Edge Toyota's rocketing towards the front. It's Trey Holmes with a huge push from Justin Wadsworth, Ethan Burrell in tow. They picked up at least 10 spots in turn 3 last time alone. Mikolajczyk jumps up there to try and take that run to the lead. Now Ryan Gable jumps up there, and he'll block that run off. It's almost going to hang Mikolajczyk out to dry. In fact, it will. Holmes to the outside corner, but he gets up into the wall.
Oh, that's trouble.
They crash. They crash. Matthew Weeks around. Tyler Fody got a piece of it. Daniel Gore is around.
Off the racing surface, so I don't know if this is going to bring out. It will bring out a yellow.
It was a multiple car crash that broke up the pack. That feels pretty appropriate. Weeks is stopped on the bottom of the racetrack. Justin Wadsworth, 3 cars. Yeah, that's a caution for sure. It all started right there. Justin Wadsworth got into Trey Holmes, and it knocked them up into the wall, and then Ethan turns Wadsworth down the racetrack. Tyler Fody's going to get a big piece of Trey Holmes right here, and then nowhere for Daniel Gore and Matthew Weeks to go, trying to avoid. I don't think they get a ton of damage here, but both cars go spinning the inside, and that will once again take away green flag pit stop potential. And there's the damage maybe for the 2 cars, but I don't think it's a sizable hit. That was a massive deal for everybody who was about 28th on back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There were cars that were 25 seconds behind the race leader at that point. They will now get a chance to catch back up as Pro Edge Toyotas pushed 3 top. Mikolajczyk got in front of him, and it stacked up from there and ultimately resulted in Matthew Weeks and Daniel Gore, Justin Wadsworth all spinning to the inside. While everybody heads down pit road, we'll take our second commercial break of the race, and we'll come back to continue stage 2 in the Daytona 500.
The 5th annual Enjoy Illinois 300 is roaring into Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday, September 13th, bringing NASCAR Cup Series racing to the most challenging track on tour. Watch the world's greatest drivers battle it out in high-speed, side-by-side action. But it's more than a race, it's a full weekend experience. Whether you're a lifelong NASCAR fan or just looking for an unforgettable gateway getaway, get your tickets now at www.raceway.com.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Have you ever just forgot to hold the brakes during a wreck? Are they just not able to pronounce your name in a race?
Paul Michelager.
Have you ever been wrecked by Chad? Hi, I'm Ray Bracey, and I'm here to share with you Quick Shifts. Watch all the highlights, lowlights, and other shenanigans in the top racing leagues, such as the Elite Racing League, and... But don't just take my word for it.
Before Quick Shifts, I was depressed. I wasn't able to relive my favorite moments from each race. Now with Quick Shifts, I can go out there and listen to all my favorite banter from the race while seeing all the crashes and good racing once again.
I don't remember life before Quick Shifts. I had to listen to Cameron Proke and Ty Mac and Cheese recap Oscar every week in the 3-Wide TV booth, but now, thanks to Quick Shifts, I actually enjoy my Oscar recaps.
So try Quick Shifts. You suffered through it one time, why not suffer through it again?
Side effects of Quick Shifts include constipation, diarrhea, dizziness, dry mouth, abnormal heart rhythms, internal bleeding, numb tongue, unfiltered honesty, loud hiccups, laughing uncontrollably, mandatory dancing, midnight munchies, blue urine, red urine.
Welcome back to the 15th running of the Belly Up Sports Cup Series Daytona 500. Ryan Gable is your leader after our third caution flag of the race. Gable will lead Ray Bracey, Jaden Rasimus, Scott Crump, Paul Mikolajczyk, and Caleb Humer back to this restart. The tally was administered to Justin Wadsworth. Zach, you and I both had a bit of a confusing moment on that one. Felt like that was a stack up, not a whole ton Wadsworth could do. The other thing I noted, Daniel Falkingham stayed on pit road a long time fixing damage on the right front of that car. If it was damaged and he went and won the stage, I am concerned for the field if that car ever gets fixed.
It's not a good sign.
Pace car down pit road, Gable into the restart zone. It was pretty slow, stacked everybody up deep in the field. No caution. Everybody was able to keep it straight, but there was some dodging to the apron that occurred there. Gable, Crump, Humer roar forward. They will get clear of Ray Bracey and drop down. Bracey with the push from Mikolajczyk. Jaden Rasimus up the outside. He's got a push from Trey Eidson to try to move that outside line back forward. The fueled up racing Chevys work to the outside lane against those three Lake Norman Chevys in the South Shore Ford. Nikolajczyk now is going to get the block from Scott Crump, and here comes Scott Crump for the race lead once again.
My favorite developing subplot of this race is how many ways can we find to make sure Paul Mikolajczyk doesn't lead a lap.
He's going to try for it. Here he comes. He's got two teammates behind him.
He wants it. He keeps getting a run. He keeps getting help from his teammates, and stuff keeps happening. This one, it feels pretty good, but I'm just waiting for the outside lane.
Gavin.
Yeah.
Look at teammate Gavin Hibbs probably telling Gavin, "Don't pass me. Don't pass me. Just push me. Just push me. I'd like to lead a lap. One lap. Let me get the bonus point. You can have it after that." Of course, then if you're Gavin, you stick a nose out right now, side draft him, pull him back.
All right, he did it.
He did it. There we go. Gavin, Paul Mikolajczyk, lap led.
80 laps of trying, 80 laps of frustration.
There you go. He adds his name to the list of drivers who've led a lap. Now we need Ray Bracey to get up there and lead one. He's one without at the top of this field.
27 lead changes already, man.
I'm at 27. Not quite halfway yet. I mean, that's still not even on pace for what we did last season at 91.
It is not. No.
It's moments like this that are kind of hurting that number. Obviously, you've got the two Lake Norman cars pushed out to the lead. They've kind of cleared and separated a little bit. No real charge, so Scott Crump able to retain the race lead at the line. Never mind, Scott Crump down to the inside. He'll hang on to it. Big moment for Scott Crump. He's going to get a black flag for cutting through pit road. He's going to have to reduce his speed to make sure he doesn't run up on the racetrack. He'll do it. A big moment for Scott Crump.
Now, I'm sure race control will clear that black flag, but still,
absolutely.
And there it is. It has just been cleared after he finally gathered enough composure to ask for race control to clear the black flag, because obviously he spent a lot of time there fighting for his life first.
A monster moment. Ryan Gable definitely not trying to spin his teammate right there out of the race lead, trying to control this race. But this next gen, we've seen it. Carlos Acosta and got a piece of Josh Adams that way. And right there, it was Ryan Gable getting a piece of Scott Crump, nearly turning that 90 car around. As it stands, Gable will now take over the race lead. He's pushed by Caleb Pecumer, his teammate. And then you've got South Shore Fords in third and fourth with Carlos Acosta and Ray Bracey working their way towards the front of the field. Gable up to block the Carlos Acosta machine. Pecumer getting the push from Ray Bracey on the bottom. One of those where this is great experience for guys like Carlos Acosta, Jaden Rasimus, as Carlos is going to jump to the bottom on Ryan Gable. Big move for Acosta. Gable's going to give him that side draft, get the push from Jaden Rasimus. I think he's going to retain the race lead at the line. This is good experience, right, for Carlos Acosta, for Jaden Rasimus, some of these guys that I know I haven't seen them racing at the front of the field in these plate races or at this Daytona 500. They are learning, right? Carlos learning, if you want to make that move at the end of the race, you can't do it in the middle of the corner. You're just going to get side drafted on the right rear of the car, slowed down. You will not have a chance to make that ground back up. So now you're going to have to figure out a different way to make that pass on the Ryan Gable machine. And right now, pushing Gable out to the race lead, got help from Caleb Pecumer in a great spot there in that second spot. And here come two more South Shore Fords up in the outside lane. Ty McIntosh pushed by Daniel Gore. Jaden up to block. It's going to open the door for Trey Idson in the middle of the racetrack. He's pushed by Chad Frankenfield on the bottom. Lake Norman, South Shore, Lake Norman, South Shore, Paul Mikolajczyk. They clear everybody. That three wide action has really opened up this inside lane.
I know we talked about a lot last season, especially after he won that World 600 at Charlotte. But, I mean, gosh, you look at the front of this field, you see a lot of guys that have put in the time, put in the effort, starting with our development series using the ARCA car, and now find themselves up front in a crown jewel event here in the Daytona 500.
Look at Carlos Acosta, man. Led at Daytona. The Bobby Hamilton car. Oh man, that's cool. Absolutely right. Right. We've seen the development series is really putting it's doing really good work. Jaden Racimus is definitely an evidence of that. Corey Abbott graduated from it last season. He's up here inside the top 10 now. He has had a miserable speed weeks. I don't want to touch on Corey Abbott any more than I have to without a fear of an announcer's jinx, but the old Batflip podcast number 21 is working its way forward right now, but he's in the hornet's nest at the moment. Daniel Falkingham pushing Daniel Gore. The Daniels were, oh no, Corey! Oh, that is a record time. Record time for Corey Abbott. He's okay. Oh, Ray Bracey into Michael Hosack. Caleb Pecumer is around.
Pecumer went head on into the wall too, so I may have jinxed him.
Yep. You and me are responsible for Pecumer and Abbott on that one.
Oh man.
I think Bojo's got some pretty big damage.
And you talked about the hornet's nest. You see it starts right there. A little bit of contact in about that first part of 3 wide, and then Pecumer comes up into Abbott just behind them. That sends Abbott back down into Bracey, and Pecumer turns Pecumer in front of the field.
Ty McIntosh getting a piece.
Jesse Racimus there, nosing into the wall.
If can we get a view maybe of this so we can see kind of what's happening behind? Got Brent Jones involved.
Oh, and there you see.
And Bracey, Rabilas is going to spin. Let's see it from back here. Where the field is going to end up having to scatter when you've got that car sideways in front of everybody. They're 5 and 6 wide down to the apron, and that results in, I can't believe nobody else hit those guys. Bojo trying to come back and get away from pit road, ends up collecting Michael Hosack. Norgard finds his way through. Rebel spin.
I believe that's Cutlip.
Yeah, Jonathan Cutlip. Is that who that is? Right front tire after that contact with Hosack not pointing the right direction for Ray Bracey at this point. On board with Jonathan Cutlip through this mess coming off turn 4. Matthew Weeks got real fortunate.
Yeah.
Cutlip takes to pit road to avoid.
Yeah, I think obviously there's going to be a speeding penalty that'll get cleared. There's still an expectation to slow down to make sure you're not just shortcutting the track. I feel like he did a good job at that. We caught the tail end there of the speedometer down into the double digits. He obviously, he didn't gain an advantage by doing that other than avoiding the wreck. I think that's fine. Obviously, race control could feel differently, but I feel like if I had to make the call, that's fine.
Yeah, I thought that looked perfectly reasonable, and yeah, it's going to end up going to Caleb Pecumer, who washed off the bottom and got a piece of Corey Abbott right as we talked about the both of them, of course. But I don't know that Abbott is going to be all that badly damaged. I think the ones that are going to take a hit here are Ray Bracey and maybe Jesse Racimus, maybe Pecumer as well in this one. Which is a tough break. Jesse, obviously, like I said, running scaling back, running part-time at this point. And then Pecumer is, you mentioned it, right? He's had such a strong season plus of performances. He graduated from our development series and has run very well, won the World 600 last season. Just a mistake, rolling off the bottom, just a little bit of contact with Corey, and it unsettled this next-gen car and resulted in the big crash.
It doesn't take much when you're 3 wide, right? There's very little, especially at Daytona. Talladega, you have a little bit more elbow room, a little bit more breathing room. Daytona 3 wide is very tight, and if you get off your kind of assigned lane the slightest bit, it tends to go poorly.
Yeah. Bracey going a lap down, fixing the right front damage. I think that thing is not good for Ray Bracy. Other cars heading to pit lane to top off, fix more damage. Here, as we roll through 1 to green, we'll reset the running order. It will be Paul Mikolajczyk, who spent so long trying to get to the race lead of this Daytona 500. He is now led under caution, so that lap lead counter will go up. He'll be alongside Carlos Acosta. William White will restart third. Daniel Gore restarts fourth behind his teammate. Chad Frankenfield will restart in fifth. Jaden Racine is sixth. Matthew Weeks snuck through that wreck. He'll restart seventh. Ray Eidson restarts in the eighth spot. It will be Leighton Norgard in ninth, and then Ryan Gavel restarting in 10th. This race has had significant passing ability. We have not seen anybody mired in the field. Daniel Falkingham has spent time fixing that car. Every single chance he's gotten under the yellow flags, he has driven right back into the top 10 every time. So it seems like until that car is like not able to hang in the draft, you're perfectly okay. Car off, Mikolajczyk into the restart zone, and we are racing once again from Daytona. Definitely some passing under the yellow. Black flag's going to pop up on your screen here. Those will be cleared by race control. Outside lane struggling to get going. Acosta and Gore trying to get hooked together, but they're not really generating any momentum just yet. They might now. Here comes the outside lane. Chad Frankenfield thinking about moving up in front of it. He will.
There he goes.
He'll be pushed by Carlos Acosta. Now here comes Paul Mikolajczyk up in front of Chad Frankenfield. That'll open the door for William White on the bottom of the racetrack. White, the Brit in this field. The other Brits to the outside there, Daniel Gore. They're both running inside the top 6 right now. And tomorrow, top side. He'll go 3 wide, try to start up that third lane. He's got help from Tyler Fody, but Jaden Racimus and Daniel Gore covered it off. Gore jumps top away from his teammate there. He'll go around Chad Frankenfield as well. That slows up that outside lane. It has all race long. It allows the inside lane to surge and drive away. Mikolajczyk, White, Weeks, Norgard, and Michael Goodman, the top 5. You're learning something every single lap, especially in this car. Here comes Daniel Gore. Big push to the race lead. The side drafts were close, and Daniel Gore will take over the lead. He'll drop to the bottom in front of Mikolajczyk. Huge push from Jaden Racimus. Annie G to the lead. Learning something every race. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
No, I was just going to say it almost got really sketchy behind it there.
Mm-hmm. Weaving and wobbling in the middle of the pack. But the thing I'm noticing is that you see Ethan Burrell's jumped up to the outside lane. He's got to push from Ty McIntosh. If you go 3 top, that's an option. It's an option to pass. What happens to that inside lane, that very bottom, you get clear of the middle lane. The inside lane surges, drives clear, and then they are able to move up in front of that middle lane. And that is a really good way to gain track position. So if you are driving in this field and you've seen that 2 or 3 times, right, you can go up to that outside lane. But if you happen to be in the middle and you saw the outside lane coming and you had a hole to the bottom, I want to take that bottom run because you'll end up moving forward when that outside lane gets there. Big push from Mikolajczyk into the rear bumper of his teammate Justin Vandermarl. That shoves them to the lead, even if it wasn't the prettiest push. William White helping them shove clear of Daniel Gore in third. Gore side by side with Weeks for fourth. Two cars have fallen way back due to the damage. It is Jesse Racimus and Ray Bracy, the 2 cars that are way back in the running order right now. They're not strong enough to hang with the pack. And Zach, we do have a rule. If you fall 6 laps down at one of these super speedways, you are deemed out of the race. So Jesse and Ray are certainly hoping for a yellow flag to help fix those cars before they happen to go any more laps down.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get timely caution, you might be able to get fixed enough to get back into hold the draft, right? That's really all you need. Hold the draft and then just keep chipping away at it, chipping away at it. But right now they're in a very precarious position, and a long green flag run is not what those two drivers in particular need.
And Racimus pushes Daniel Gore to the race lead. They are hoping for a caution. Are Jesse Racimus and Ray Bracy, the father of second place and the teammate of first place right now, as it were. 3 wide top again by those Pro Edge Toyotas. We've seen that from them quite a bit tonight. Ethan Burrell, Justin Wadsworth trying to work their way back up to the front. Here comes Vandermarl, works to the outside of the Kyle Busch throwback. He'll now get blocked off by Daniel Gore. Gore and Vandermarl hook up, but it's Jaden Racimus pushed by his teammate William White on the bottom of the racetrack. I'll tell you, Zach, as I watch this race and continue to watch it play out, I watched Tate Lytle drop to the bottom of the racetrack on maybe lap 4, lap 5 from third starting spot. He's riding at the back right now. He doesn't lose the draft again. I think he's got the right idea. Just from the way I'm seeing things play out, I don't think you need to be anywhere near the front of the field until 20 to go at the earliest in this race.
Especially since we're seeing a lot more blocking, a lot more aggression here in this front 10 to 15 cars. I feel like we might be getting closer and closer to, I don't want to say a rash of cautions, but I think we're going to start seeing them a little more frequently than we have in the first half of this race.
Racy down to the grass. Yeah, I don't think Ray was super confident in holding that car steady through the travel on the apron, the way that car's right front wheel is cut to the right. So he gave the field a little extra space and then got back on the racetrack. But right as Daniel Gore and Tyler Fode went side by side for the race lead.
I'm going to have to give him a ration of mischief about that after leading being the president of the Lapper Knows His Rights fan club the other night, for him to completely leave the racing surface out of the kindness of his heart. I'm going to file that away in the notebook for future conversation with Ray Bracy. Love you, buddy.
Yep. He was very courteous, maybe a little overly courteous right there for the field. Daniel Gore's teammate leading the race probably had something to do with it right there. Gore now looking, I think, to clear the air on that 69 car. One thing we haven't mentioned today, Zach, is the temps these cars can run to. We have been in daytime-ish conditions. Back on last Wednesday, we were at night the entire way, and you could definitely overheat these next-gen cars when locked together pushing. It took about a lap and a half to do so, but you do have to manage your temps. Daniel Gore pushed Tyler Fode for about a lap and a half. Now zooms to the outside, takes the lead. That'll cool the motor. That's about the best way you can cool the motor on these things, is be out in the clean air and out in front. Daniel Gore hung out in the back of the field to start this race. Another guy that had hung out in the back is now working his way back to the front is duel number 2 winner, Tyler Popp. He is leading the outside lane up into 6th spot. Now he's starting to flex some muscle. He had been hanging out. Now he's going to draft Tyler Fode to the race lead.
And for those who weren't with us last week with our broadcast of the duels, we talked about how Tyler Popp, really, when you consider his 2026 A Cup Series season, only made 4 starts, but he performed so well in those 4 starts. They earned enough points to join the group of chartered drivers going into this season. Of course, that started with a 3rd place finish in the 2026 A edition of the Daytona 500.
Right, he is experienced and obviously winning the duel on Wednesday. I mean, he is certainly with enough pace to go up here and win this race. And as we talk about him and mention his name, we should probably jump to the race lead where Tyler Popp jumped to the bottom, got in front of Daniel Gore. He's going for the lead. It's not going to work, though. The push did not get there. The inside lane just didn't have any momentum for Tyler Popp to surge forward with. Jaden Racimus takes over the race lead. He's got a push from Tyler Fody. Behind Fody, Zach, is Gerald Campbell. And now Scott Crump, who jumps out of line. Lake Norman cars shuffle to the inside of the racetrack. They'll look for the race lead.
Oh, that was a tight squeeze there for Gerald Campbell, slotting in third on that inside lane with the eagle on the nose of the 31 car, the gold wheels.
Gerald up into the top 10. How about Connor Thompson? Looking for another good run in the Daytona 500. That guy he's been real solid at getting into this race. Is Connor Thompson. He's been an open driver every single time, but he gets in every year. And Ray Bracey gets the meatball flag. Zach, I think that's because that right front tire is not pointed the right direction. When he's turning it left, I think he blew out the right front tire.
That is very, very possible. That is the case there. He'll have to bring that car to pit road. That's not going to help him in the quest to staying fewer than 6 laps down.
Yeah, Ray needed a quick yellow. Unfortunately, that has not happened, and he will at least get a couple of those stage points, but I think it might be a short night for Ray Bracey. And it was only supposedly 4 minutes, but I mean, that thing was severely hurt. Lake Norman teammates Tyler Fody and Scott Crump up here. I'm waiting for Gerald Campbell to jump up to the outside lane and make a move for the race lead, add to our lap leader total.
To add insult to injury, unsafe pit entry for Ray Bracey. He was in the grass on his way in.
Well, there was no right front tire on it. You can't, Up top goes Paul Mikolajczyk looking to try to trap this outside lane forward right now. The inside, very strong. It's 5 or 6 deep. Zach, we're going to have to make a pit stop before stage 2 hits. Should this race stay green? Now, we haven't made it to green flag pit stops yet.
We keep talking about these mysterious green flag pit stops, kind of like the lost city of Atlantis or,
Hey, we've had them. We had them. I think it was on Monday. We managed to get a hold of one here in Speed Weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was terrible in it. I had the worst green flag pit cycle known to man without crashing or speeding up pit road or anything.
And that can certainly, as you mentioned, right? I mean, you had a very strong run going, but in that green flag cycle, it's real easy to lose a lot of time and potentially even lose the draft in a cycle like that. And you see how deep and long this pack is right now. That can certainly lead to some heavy hitters that are not maybe playing at the front of the field, losing the draft and having a chance to fall back. Now, Zach, we've had green flag pit stops in the Daytona 500 numerous times before. The issue, of course, is that we do almost never, and in fact, I would even say we've never just run it green to the end from a long ways out. There has always been a late race caution that shuffles things up in this race. That is something that you can bank on, right? And that's what a lot of these guys are banking on right now. That's why there's very little urgency to get up to the front. They know there is a green flag pit stop before the stage break. Planning out, you're probably not taking tires. You're hoping to maximize the quickness of the stop and stay in this draft, stay in this pack. Good on and off pit road. You can't be worried about making those mistakes. You just need to stay in this pack and give yourself a chance to go race for the stage points.
So
and ultimately the win.
You mentioned the run to the end. Connor Thompson Gardner, currently 8th in the field, has done a lot of homework and a lot of research that he's been kind enough to share leading up to this season. This Daytona 500 has Scott Crump almost washed up there in front of that outside lane, Paul Mikolajczyk. One of those stats he shared with me, in 14 previous Daytona 500s, 2 have gone 200 laps. The other 12 have gone to overtime.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, we've had I can't remember when iRacing installed overtime. It would have been after I joined, as Mikolajczyk takes over the race lead. it's definitely been around for a long time, and it is almost always been an option in this race. There's just too much at stake. These guys get overexcited getting late in the race, late in the going, and it ultimately results in things getting wild. Late as here comes Tyler Fode outside, help from Scott Crump, help from Gerald Campbell, and they'll go racing around Paul Mikulashik.
I ain't fully dead yet.
It's alive.
Don't take him out, coach. He can still race.
He's 5 laps down.
He's pretty close.
He needs a very timely yellow to stay in this one.
He needs some help. He needs some help, but he is not done yet.
Up to the lead, Mikulashik through, trying to jump to the outside of the 90. He'll have the push from Rasimus. Luckily for Ray Bracy, he's got about 5 or 6 laps before they lap him for the 6th time here. And I look at the way this field is starting to join. Things are happening. For you Ray Bracy fans, it's not over yet.
And the thing is with this race, until he loses that 6th lap, he's got to stay in it, right? He has to, because all it takes is one caution. What if this one caution wrecks a whole bunch of cars, and then he can pick up 10 spots, and then, you just keep plugging away. Stranger things have happened than making up 5 laps in this race.
That's true, and you also have to consider, Ray he was on the border of making the playoffs or the chase last season. Any points he can muster in this race can be valuable down the stretch for a driver like this, and he'll be strong at many other tracks this year. But I think this was one of his best options, and obviously got sucked into a wreck not of his own making here tonight. So here's hoping something occurs that changes his fortunes. But the field is rapidly approaching, slamming the door shut on the night of the 7.
And there he is. You see him on the apron, kicking up a lot of dust in protest of what's going to be the end of his night. I'm sure he will get the call from race control here shortly to report to pit road. There is the call.
I have to, as he has to head to pit road, I do have to give him flowers for last night. We ran a really good race. Couldn't have asked for a better draft partner, and put the block on him coming to the line. And it's tough to see that car not have a chance to win. It was running at the front for the entirety of the first 75 laps or so, and just unfortunate that it's not going to get a chance to go all the way.
Go ahead, put some more tires up before you put on the trailer.
We brought 9 sets. We were expecting to use them all. Unfortunate. Ray Bracy will be the first retiree of the evening in this 15th running of the Daytona 500. Scott Crump leads over Tyler Fode, Gerald Campbell, Tyler Popp, Jaden Rasimus, the top 5. This group has calmed down ever so slightly. We do have pit stops on the horizon.
How far are we into this run?
We got to be getting close.
24. Okay.
35 for Paul Mikulashik.
Oh, yeah. So he's got definitely need to pit soon. Not sure how many others
are with him on that strategy.
Correct.
There are some for sure, but Mikulashik may be in about 10 laps earlier than some of these other cars. 25 laps, that means we got about 15 or so in the tank. Look at the laps to the stage. Obviously, that is 18 or so laps. So you cannot probably make it to the stage here without pitting. And Mikulashik is going to be even further back than that. Big move for for Jaden Racimus. Got a big push from Mikolaj Shek. Help from Justin Vandermarl and the shift cars of Connor Thompson and Seth Rawls in the outside lane, surging forward once again. Our moments of calm are over.
Ooh. The purple cars almost came together there.
Racimus, Tyler Fody. It's funny, when Ty McIntosh, Ray gave Ty a couple of choices. Ty chose the purple car. It looked the best. But then we didn't initially realize, oh yeah, there's a couple of new purple cars out here on the track, so that's going to be not confusing at all for the broadcasters.
The 40 won't be out here. Tyler Fody,
Right.
of course, we've touched on. He won't be a full-time contender, so that helps a little bit. But still, I think I'd take purple's an underutilized color, generally speaking, in the motorsports landscape. I'm fine with a few extra purple cars versus the seasons where we've had half the field in white, black, and red, or some variation thereof.
New leader, Connor Thompson Gardner, takes over the race lead of the Daytona 500. The lap leader counter is going to go off the screen soon. We're going to need a scroll bar for it here shortly.
We're going to need a bigger box.
Lake Norman teammates have been the dominant group leading the most laps, but we have seen a lot of different folks set their name at the front of this field. Nice recovery drives, too, to mention inside the top 10. Justin Wadsworth was involved in that one wreck on the back straightaway. He is now up here inside the top 10. Josh Adams was involved in a wreck as well. He is rocketing up the outside lane with help from Wadsworth, and they are going to take over the race lead. Both of those cars have been either sideways or backwards or into other cars, and they have made it work. They are all right for now, and for Jaden Racimus to lead, but Josh Adams, very aggressive. He will almost certainly be looking for a way around.
I was about to say, I'm waiting for him to drop down to the inside. There it is, in front of Connor Thompson Gardner. He's got to look for that push from CTG to the front. Also got to give an attaboy to Connor Thompson Gardner for passing whatever medical exams were necessary after the incident at the end of Monday's Grand National Series race.
A shot from the 6 car there. Josh Adams just set the
whoever was
fastest lap.
driving that 6 car to the checkered flag, I mean, just absolutely obliterated Connor Thompson Gardner for no reason whatsoever.
Row Edge Toyotas to the race lead. It's Justin Wadsworth and Ethan Burrell to the bottom of the racetrack. They've got help with Gavin Hibbs. And we have Ray Bracey in the infield care center. And before pit stops hit, let's talk to our good buddy. I moved him to the wrong chat.
Oh, David!
Oh, no. It's this chat. This is the one we want.
There you go. Attaboy.
Ray Bracey. It's David in the booth. You got me, buddy?
I sure do. How's it going?
I saw you up front, man. You were running a really good race. Just got caught up in a wreck, not of your own making. Take us through what happened and how it felt out there.
Oh, it was fun. I felt this week's. I felt like the most in control of Daytona I've ever had. I don't know. It's just one of those things that happens, It's. I looked it back. I saw. I think it was Caleb and Abbott. They both got together, and then Caleb bonked me to the inside, and I would have been fine, but I was trying to control it, and by the time I finally controlled it, I ran to Hasek, who was going into the pit. So I was, nothing I could do there. Of course, he blamed me, but whatever. It's just I'm just holding on for dear life at that point. It's whatever I can do there. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I was surprised that did as much damage as it did. In terms of iRacing's thing, it only gave me like 6 minutes, which usually is okay. But my tire was my front right was basically sideways, and it blew up the one time. So if I didn't speed down pit, I could have probably held on for a few more laps. But since they're staying green, I would have fallen off anyway. So it was a tough night. But before that, it was super fun. Worked with a lot of people I didn't expect to work with. Yeah, it was I got stage points. I'm happy with that. I won't be completely last at the end of the night, or most likely not. But yeah, just Daytona. It sucks that I had such a fun week and then it kind of ends on that note. But at least I can rest a little bit and not have to do the whole race, I guess.
Right. Dak, you got any? I know you want to ask one particular thing.
I absolutely want to ask one particular question, because earlier this week, Ray Bracey was the president of the Lapper Knows His Rights fan club, and you were in the grass as the lapper. You weren't even on the apron, my guy. You were in the grass as the lapper. That's the opposite of standing up for your rights, Ray. What happened? What happened?
No. So I would have totally stayed on the track, but as I've mentioned, my tire was perpendicular to the direction I was going. So I did not feel comfortable. I mean, I totally could have and gotten the tally and maybe even got some damage repaired after the inevitable yellow. Maybe that would have been a strat, but
I'm just saying.
I knew you were going to say something about that too.
I did.
I did. If I had no damage, if I was completely fine, I would have totally been on the inside line. But yeah, you caught me at an awkward spot with my wheel blowing up. So no, I did not feel comfortable doing
a convenient excuse, I suppose.
It is. Just terminal damage. What an excuse? Yeah.
This is what you all at home get when the last place finisher is a teammate of the two guys talking about the race in the booth. But
also, I want to say, since the action's kind of even out right now, my friends who were watching the broadcast were telling me you guys were making fun of me for staying on the inside lane the entire time or something like that. Hold on, let me see what they said. But yeah, they were calling me out. It says this announcer is joshing on Ray's key strat. Keep jamming the inside, Ray. They'll never know what hit them. # stage points.
I was praising you. I praised you the whole time. He's my driver.
They made it sound
and you
like
got the stage points. It worked perfect. Yeah. We will make fun of him. You'll note we will make fun of this guy. So
that's to be expected. But I was just like, all about my strategy there.
You did it. No, you did a great job, and definitely were sucked into the wreck of your own that you didn't make. So with that, any shout outs or stuff before we send you off tonight, Ray?
Yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome always at broadcasting and stuff. And Huck's doing the video. Yeah. Shout out to Huck. Yeah, I was raised from Carlos. That would make sense.
Crash Dusty Dewar hard in the wall.
Shout out to my wife and Pushkin. Love it. Thank you.
Send Ray out of here. Caution is out. We again didn't get Ray. It was like 15 laps too late for you, buddy.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, well,
you'll have that.
Fate was secured right at the initial wreck, but yeah, that one looked even worse. So
yeah, this one's gonna be a practically homemade meatball for Dustin Dewar. The push there from Daniel Falkingham head on into the outside wall in turn 3. We're gonna see quite a few guys get collected here, but obviously Dustin Dewar getting the worst of it. Rob Mooney collecting.
Daniel Gore,
somebody
Scott
else
Crump.
hit the wall head on up there.
Justin Vandermarl's involved in this.
Number 80.
Well,
Jesse,
he's 54. He's 54 now. Oh, yeah. Jesse. Go. Yeah, I mean, just a bad angle on the push. Dusty looked like he tried to follow down to the inside, and that got him off center with Daniel Falkingham. Gore's in this, Hibbs, Wadsworth, and then you see Jesse Racimus is going to go up and hit the wall. Jonathan Cutlip has big damage. Mooney gets a piece. Gorgeous, Goodman, Rucker, Fody. McIntosh sideways through the grass. Did Ty get damage from that? Did he go slideways through this and get through? Like Reynolds through the grass again? I think Ty might be clear. He's probably an onboard shot during this wreck.
Something to note that we didn't really get to touch on during this interview with Ray Bracey was Paul Mikolajczyk did end up hitting all by himself. He was probably close to losing a lap before this caution came out. So depending on how he wants to play it, he might be able to cycle to the front of the field, or he might go ahead and pit and reset that strategy. But either way, he's on the lead lap. That's better than what was going to happen.
Heck of a job by Ty McIntosh, Corey Abbott as well, getting through this. And yeah, it works out great for Paul Mikolajczyk. I think he probably will just drive to the front and take the lead. He only had a couple of laps there where he was running full song.
Right. Yeah.
I think Ethan Burrell is one we probably need to watch through this wreck. I think he got cut sideways kind of after the wreck hit. We can go back and take a look there as we roll through the pit stops. Mikolajczyk is going to take over the lead. I think it's Burrell. I couldn't tell, but I did watch a white car go crashing well after the wreck. He's on that transition. And right, yeah, this was it. He got a piece of an orange car. It might have been Becumer. And Jesse as well.
Man, that's such a hard hit.
Racing incident, obviously, I think, and maybe it's Ryan Gable. Yeah, it's Gable that Burrell gets a piece of here.
He might be all right.
I think that's kind of incidental contact. About a 15 or so car wreck. Daniel Falkingham didn't stay on pit road very long, Zach. He went down, got fuel, and came off pit road. Third spot. I don't know. That car looks like it's damaged. He took a big hit in that wreck. It looks worse than it was before, but it must not be very much on it because he didn't take anything. Here comes Gavin Hibbs. I guess Hibbs stayed out. Was that the yellow? Oh, was that a stage, by the way?
No.
Oh, it wasn't. It's 130.
Yes.
30 is the stage. Yes. Okay.
Correct.
Mikolajczyk's going to be in a really good spot here for the stage. Gavin Hibbs ends up giving up stage points. Falkingham, I think, is going for those stage points. That car has to be damaged worse than it was. But it looks pretty bad on the front row of this upcoming restart. Sorry, Dave, did you have the fixing damage? Yeah. Against Racimus, obviously Bracy. There's Falkingham with 3 minutes. I mean, Idle's been fixing damage, looks like. Wadsworth's fixed some. It's only going to go up as the night goes on. Cutlip's back on pit road fixing more damage here, trying to get as much as they can before this stage. So Paul Mikolajczyk will cycle to the race lead. He pitted under green, dodged the wreck. It's a big fortunate moment for the driver of the 77. He'll be alongside his teammate Daniel Falkingham, who has some damage on the front row. It'll be William White and Nick Indelicato restarting third and fourth. Josh Adams and Carlos Acosta fifth and sixth. Jaden Racimus, Matthew Weeks, Connor Thompson-Gardner, and Seth Rawls, the top 10. Elliot Fody restarts 11th with Andrew Rucker in 12th. Gerald Campbell 13th. Ty McIntosh 14th. Rob Mooney will restart in 15th. See if any of those cars that took bumps in that wreck are affected by that damage. Especially worried about Daniel Falkingham, but he won the stage with a car with several minutes of damage. So who knows? Might be okay.
Who knows? Yeah, we're about to find out.
This car heading down pit road. 4 laps, around 5 laps until stage number 2 is complete in this 15th running of the Elite Daytona 500. It's Paul Mikolajczyk with control through the restart zone, and we are racing once again at Daytona. Mikolajczyk's big move allows Falkingham to drop in behind. He jumps back up to the outside lane, but with that right front damage, I just don't know how well he's going to be able to lead these lines. It's stacking up that outside, something fierce. Everybody's bouncing off each other. Rebelos into Campbell. They go down and up the racetrack and save it.
They're good.
That came from that front lane getting stacked up with Falkingham making those moves. Acosta works topside. He's just trying to get out of the way, I think. Josh Adams cuts to the bottom. It'll be William White looking for the race lead up top at the front of the field. Mikolajczyk holding the bottom with Adams in tow. Front group has broken away due to all that shuffling. I think that group will catch this pack, but it's not going to result in stage points for anybody not in this group of 10 or so. Nikolajczyk, Adams, Weeks, the top three clear of the side-by-side action. Daniel Falkingham stayed out. He has fallen all the way to 8th. He's going to continue to fall. That inside line is very well hooked up right now. Weeks, though, jumps to the outside. He'll look for this race lead. He wants to win this stage. William White, big push to the rear bumper of the number 11. Matthew Weeks takes the race lead. The tandem draft working with William White. White has the help with Jaden Racimus in tow. Weeks work to the bottom. Racimus looking to the outside on his teammate. Now Falkingham jumps in line in the bottom lane. "39 cars beaten and battered, but it is working just fine once they're up to full song." Once again, Daniel Falkingham is just going to have a chance to go up here and get some stage points. Nikolajczyk to the outside of his teammate Falkingham. Falkingham trying to stay in line in that draft below. Now William White jumps out in front of Nikolajczyk at the line. 2 to go in the stage. It's William White, the Brit, working to the lead with Nikolajczyk and Adams in tow. Now Nikolajczyk drops to the bottom, trying to grab the race lead away from William White. Outside line stacks up a little bit. It's going to open the door for the bottom lane with Matthew Weeks and Falkingham pushing strong to the rear bumper of Nikolajczyk. 2 shift cars in that outside line, a whole bunch of them in this pack. In fact, it's 3 in a row in that top groove. It's Adams, Delicato, and Connor Thompson-Gardner with Seth Rawls behind Jaden Racimus. 4 shift cars in the outside lane trying to make that outside group work and push forward to the stage win. 1 lap to go in the stage. William White leads it. Nikolajczyk outside, gets a big push from Josh Adams. Matthew Weeks pushing against William White. William up to the outside lane to block Nikolajczyk. That will open the door for Matthew Weeks on the bottom. I think White will slam that door as well. Outside lane going. Here comes Nikolajczyk looking for the race lead, looking for the stage win. They roll off turn 4. It's White versus Nikolajczyk. William White is going to come down and collect stage number 2. Picking up stage points at the line. White, Nikolajczyk, Adams, the top 3, and Delicato 4th. Weeks, Rawls, Falkingham, Connor Thompson-Gardner, Tyler Poppin, Ty McIntosh will pick up those points. Now this group is 3 abreast, several cars deep. They've got a 5-second gap over the next group in line, but this kind of fighting, I think, is going to slow them up dramatically.
Well, I keep thinking that, but I've been watching this whole time, and they've been pulling away and pulling away. The second group just has not been able to get organized and figure out how to make up that time.
Yeah, that's going to really change the complexion of this race. Obviously, there was no need for a yellow flag. They squirreled up and the draft got broken apart. But now as this group goes back to 2x2, I mean, this could be the type of thing that opens up this Daytona 500 to this group of 15 or so cars. I mean, you've got to think, to the end of this race now. There's no more stage points on the line. You need to get to the end. You need to kind of line this group up. I think 2x2 is okay. I think they're not going to slow each other down, but I mean, you've got 15 guys here who they certainly have their eyes set on the end of this race, and they know they need to get there. This is where I would say consider do a little co-opetition. You got to make sure this group of 15 can decide it amongst themselves at the end of this thing.
Just now is the first time in really the past 10 laps that second group has actually gained on the leaders.
They're trying to wreck here for the lead.
Yeah. They've just finally got a few cars lined up nose to tail.
Door banging all the way down the back straightaway, and Delicato and Mikolajczyk. I think Delicato was not very happy with the block Mikolajczyk put on him going into turn one last time.
Jonathan Cutlip is going to stay against the outside wall here as he's going to go a second lap down.
Zach, you mentioned it in our chat before the race started. Jonathan Cutlip is the guy that, he got sucked into that wreck, but he has been hunting for his first Daytona 500. Was searching for a win at Daytona on Monday. Was unable to get it. Last lap passed by Ty McIntosh. It's just been a difficult set of season and a set of seasons really for Jonathan Cutlip, who's been so close to achieving a championship run. Unfortunately, it won't happen, or a Daytona 500 trophy won't happen tonight, but he's certainly got his sights on bigger things for the rest of the season. So I'm sure John is the type of guy who will be looking forward to this schedule opening up into races that are not the speedway of Daytona. Looking back, half a second has been carved out of the lead from this front pack by Ryan Gable, Trey Holmes, Gerald Campbell, and the rest of that group. I'm certain they're going to continue to move forward. This front group is really slicing and dicing. They're not focused on making speed. They're not focused on holding that second group back. It is all forward, looking for the race lead. And Matthew Weeks has it. He's being pushed by Monday's winner, Ty McIntosh. Just as that happens, Nick Delicato and Adams work their way back to the lead. And Zach, if that second group isn't able to continue to make up ground, and we do get one of those very rare Daytona 500s that gets decided among the through a green flag stint to the end, the numbers are with Shift Esports. A sizable margin here. I mean, it's their entire team in this top 15.
There is a definite advantage there. You see the Shift Esports lineup: Nick and Delicato, Josh Adams, Connor Thompson, Gardner, Seth Frost, Trey Eidson, all in this lead pack. Have to imagine they'll be strategizing when they might pit and all of that. Should we get to a green flag pit cycle to ensure they're able to stay out front.
We say all that. Ryan Gable and company have carved another half second out of the front group. I do believe they will catch this front 15. There's just not enough pace being made right now. There's just too much racing, side drafting, shuffling going on, and you can see the gains being made to the rear bumper of Tyler Popp from Ryan Gable, who's the lead car in the second pack. And the second pack contains the rest of the field. So it really is everybody. They have the numbers right now. I mean, that is all the way back to 38th. It includes everybody else. So they have the numbers, and they have organized, and they are certainly making up time as we speak.
Yeah, what's interesting watching this second pack is they've singled out. That's helping. But you're seeing, especially like Blake Reynolds, he's like kind of alternating between being the fourth car that's super tight. Like you see how close Trey Holmes is to Ryan Gable. That's where a lot of energy is coming from. But Blake Reynolds is like really, I mean, this is testament to his experience, I'd have to assume. He's kind of alternating between giving that push to Gerald Campbell to keep that energy up, and then he'll tuck out like half a car just to get that air on the nose to cool it off so that he can go hit another push. You know, you would think as much as he's moving around, it would be killing the energy, but he's timing it just right. That's really not hurting this line when he tucks out.
When you're in and I've been in this particular situation and scenario, I've been in it with Blake actually. I think it was 2 Daytona 500s ago, we had to make this exact move where we had to catch the field. You need to, the second, third, and fourth car determine how good the line runs, right?
Yes.
So you have to keep, Blake has to keep the push to Gerald. Gerald has to keep the push to Trey, and then Trey has to manage the temps to push Ryan. And that's the cycle, right? And so if the second car is struggling to keep their temps and gets hot, you have to shuffle that second car out and move them back in the pack. And then again, it has to be some co-opetition, right? You have to say, hey, I'm not going to move out a second in line because if I jump out, I might lose the draft. Well, if you've got teammates or something back there, you're able to, get back in line with the pack and not fear that you're going to fall out of the draft. But if you're that second car and you are able to manage your temps, then that's what's going to contain most of the run is that second car, and it helps that second car a lot if the third and fourth car are tucked up nice and tight, which we're seeing it right now. I mean, look at the time. They're taking 2 to 3 tenths out every single lap of the lead of this front group.
At this point, I think you're even seeing, that front group, at least the second half of the front group has singled out. And I think they're seeing that happening behind them and starting to recognize, but at the same time, that just kind of makes the first pack longer and will just make it a little bit less time they have to make up before they get that draft.
That's what's happening, right? They're about, Ryan Gable is real close to picking up the scent off of the Ryan Borges machine right now, who is tagged onto this front group after going a lap down. And that's going to bring this back group even closer. Now, they got 6 tenths this last lap, but they are within the same screen at this point. It is single file nature. That second group is certainly paying dividends right now, and they are going to catch this first group.
You used the term scent.
Can you smell them, Gavel? Can you sniff them?
There you go. Basically right. Exactly
Yeah.
what I said.
That seems to be the name of the game right now.
It's such a funny thing. You can kind of feel it, right? When you get to within a second or so of the lead car, you can just feel your cars pick up speed and start going forward. That's what we're seeing right now with Ryan Gable in that second group. And they have, in fact, officially caught the first group and are in striking distance. And we'll see how far they take this run. I think Ryan Gable is certainly going to be willing.
Oh, he's got to go all the way. He's going to the top of the penthouse, baby.
Right? Yeah, Ryan Gable is going to be looking to take this run all the way to the race lead. I think a lot of that group is just content to get to this pack and ride, but Ryan Gable in particular, he's ready to go. He's ready to Jaden Racimus, and all that work for nothing. Jaden Racimus around Blake Reynolds, Ryan Gable. Caution is out. He got all the way there and immediately wrecked it. Zach, we talked about it as we get a practically homemade meatball and Trey Eidson. Ryan Gable's biggest weakness is knowing when to have that maximized aggression. He has it all the time, and it was just not needed there. It just got into the back of the pack. The pack that caught him definitely got caught up. Is that Chad Frankenfield around?
Yes.
Pulling up and into Justin Vandermarl.
Tried to.
See who else gets collected. A bunch of these guys have been hanging back all race long. Got Rob Mooney, got Tate Lytle. Chad's going to get, that's just an accordion effect right there. You've got Hosack into Higgins, into Chad. Daniel Gore slides into it. No big damage, I don't think, from that contact. Biggest damage is Trey Eidson and Jaden Racimus and Ryan Gable. Those were the 3 cars, I think, that are going to take the biggest hit. Aboard with Rob Mooney through this. On the binders.
Atta baby.
To the grass. Got through it.
The middle pedal. It works really good.
Seeing this next gen car. Once again, Zach, we are denied green flag pit stops.
I'm telling you. Crazy how this race has played out in that regard.
we've really just had about 30 lap runs, effectively, or 5 30 lap runs to this point. Everybody down pit road. We will go ahead and take our final commercial break of the night. Rejoin you for the conclusion of the Daytona 500.
The 5th annual Enjoy Illinois 300 is roaring into Worldwide Technology Raceway on Sunday, September 13th, bringing NASCAR Cup Series racing to the most challenging track on tour. Watch the world's greatest drivers battle it out in high-speed, side-by-side action. But it's more than a race, it's a full weekend experience. Whether you're a lifelong NASCAR fan or just looking for an unforgettable gateway getaway, get your tickets now at www.raceway.com.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Before anyone else was talking about it, we were building it. Sim Gaming Expo, America's original, community-driven, multi-genre simulation gaming event. Experience the latest hardware and tech, meet creators, watch live competitions, and celebrate your passion with fellow sim enthusiasts. Join us September 18th to 20th, 2026 at the Schaumburg Convention Center in Schaumburg, Illinois. Be a part of history. For tickets and information, visit simgamingexpo.com.
Welcome back to the 15th running of the Elite Belly Up Sports Cup Series Daytona 500. We are working lap 146 of 200 in this one. It's been an extremely competitive race, a lot of slicing and dicing for the race lead. And our 6th caution of the race was deemed a racing incident. Off the sideways push from Ryan Gable into Jaden Racimus, resulting in a crash, involving about 10 competitors, taking Jaden and Trey Eidson out of this race effectively after very good nights for the both of them. We'll turn the lead over to Josh Adams with Matthew Weeks running second. You'll have Connor Thompson-Gardner third, Tyler Popp fourth, Sitter Nick and Delicato 5th. It'll be Seth Rawls 6th, Carlos Acosta 7th, Tyler Fody 8th, Michael Ishik in 9th, William White, the Stage 2 winner, running in 10th. Well, Zach, we're going to have to make one more pit stop before the end of this race for fuel.
I have a sneaky suspicion we'll make it under the yellow flag.
Haven't made a single green flag pit stop in this one today. Pace car heading down pit lane. Josh Adams controlling this race. He will lead us to the green, and his Shift Esports teammates in that bottom row. Big bump, big jump. We are racing once again. Matthew Weeks tucks down in front of Nick and Delicato, and they'll be single file for the first 3 cars into turn 1. It is go time. It is. You're going to see a lot more aggression from these drivers. Oh. Here comes Matthew Weeks to the outside lane. Here comes Nick and Delicato to the inside lane.
You talk about that aggression already on display. Business is about to pick up here in the Daytona 500.
It is the pay window has started. It is open. 53 laps to go in this race. Josh Adams, the race leader. Matthew Weeks in second. If Matthew Weeks is at the front of this field, you know it's time to get to the end. He's won this thing 3 times, looking to make it 4. Here tonight, he's certainly got a great shot. Tyler Pop lines up behind Weeks. It's Seth Rawls to the outside lane. He'll have a push from Tyler Fode and William White as they work towards the back straightaway once again. Weeks to the inside, looking for the race lead. Really incredible performance from the Shift Esports crew. I mean, was this 5 in the top 6 or so? 4 in the top 6? Or in the top 8, something like that. They've been up front all race long. Trey Idson obviously got taken out in that last wreck, but the numbers are still really good for the Seth Rawls-led team, and they are 1-2 up in the top. Tyler Fode deked like he was going down, then moved back up in front of William White to get the push. Rawls and Adams moved up as a unit. That opens the door for Matthew Weeks on the bottom, being pushed by Tyler Pop.
We may have lost a broken up pack, but it's still a lot of those shift cars up front. You know they're going to be looking to hook up every chance they get. Right now, that's 2 of them. Josh Adams and Seth Rawls up front.
Big moves middle of the pack. Trey Holmes and Daniel Falkingham are nose to tail in the 3rd lane trying to get that working. Blake Reynolds moved bottom to top. He's looking to try to move back to the front of the field as well. A lot of guys who kind of thought their race might be over in that second pack have realized they have a new life and they're trying to get to the front of this field. And Hibbs is one of them. He was way at the back a little bit ago. New name near the front. It's Michael Hosak dropping to the bottom to help Tyler Fode on the bottom lane. Up into the top 10 comes Corey Abbott. That car was backwards about 100 laps ago. He's back up here working his way towards the front of the field. Here comes Gavin Hibbs. 2-time winner last year's Talladega winner, the runner-up at Daytona last season, looking for the race lead. He's got it right now on the bottom. Ethan Burrell with the push. Tyler Fode working his way into 3rd. Hosak 4th. Outside of Hosak goes Seth Rawls.
Keep an eye here on Paul Mikolajczyk. I was about to say, yes, there. Daniel Falkingham follows him to the high side. They've got Blake Reynolds in tow as well. We'll see if that 3rd lane can get going.
If anything, if I've seen anything from this race, what's going to happen, that 3rd lane will work for a little bit, but it starts dragging that 2nd lane back, and the lane that surges is the bottom. So it might be really good news for Matthew Weeks that they're 3 wide bottom right now. He might be able to surge back forward and get a chance to move to the middle lane. Hosak, top side. He gets in front of Seth Rawls, looking for 3rd on Tyler Fode. Hibbs with the race lead. Burrell into 2nd. A lot of Daytona 500 success all of a sudden has risen to the top of this race. Not surprising in the slightest. It's one of those races where the cream tends to rise to the top, and we've seen it all race long. Tyler Fode's been very strong today. Ethan Burrell has been able to get back to the front quite a bit. Falkingham, last year's winner, has been quite strong, won a stage. Brent Jones into 4th. Behind Tyler Fode, taking that inside line surge and rolling it forward. There's Matthew Weeks into 5th, just like I kind of predicted.
Brent Jones, we haven't spoken about him a ton tonight, but it's never surprising at these super speedways, especially as you get late in the race, when he enters the conversation.
it's when you know it's time to go. Brent's very good at biding his time until it is go time. And as Brent has shown, it's time to open it up. If he's going, means the rest of the field is on it as well. And Brent very solid right now. I don't think you're going to see him jump to the outside to try to lead one of these lanes. I think he's going to be content to ride between 5 Daytona 500 wins on the bottom as long as he can. TV coverage for the 89 car there in the 4th spot.
Finished third in this race in 2022B, searching for that first career Belly Up Sports Cup Series win in his 234th start. If he were to somehow pull it off, I don't know if there'd be a more popular potential winner in this field amongst the drivers than Brent Jones.
He's 0 for elite as well. In it's 400 some odd starts for Brent Jones across all the series in elite, and he is 0 for thus far. But he's certainly had his opportunities in this particular race where he seems to just get to the front when it matters the most. And here he is once again in a premier spot to take home some hardware late. Long way to go, though. We still have another pit stop. There's a lot of racing left. Don't get that wrong, but good to see some of these guys up at the front here late in the going. Outside lane did not work for Daniel Falkingham and Paul Mikulajczyk. Corey Abbott tried to get up there with them. They have all fallen to the rear of this outside lane being headed by Connor Thompson-Gardner. He is being pushed by William White. You've got Michael Hosack in that group as well. They're trying to surge back towards the race lead. They're alongside Matthew Weeks for the 5th position.
I'll mention another guy we haven't talked about a ton, and he's still not quite in this lead group, but just quietly hanging around on the inside right now. About 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there is the 12 car of Leighton Norgard. Now let's remember at the very start of the night, we didn't even know he was going to be in this race. He was I guess, second alternate. Tyler Fode, of course, knew a couple of days in advance he was going to be in the field in the place of Johnny Thomas. So Leighton Norgard was just kind of waiting and hoping somebody didn't show up. And we didn't really know until it was call time, post time. No Josh Chin means Leighton Norgard got to start tail of the field. Didn't really have a ton of time to practice with the pack of drivers here tonight. Just kind of had to climb in and make it happen. And so far, he's kept a pretty clean race car for the most part. And he's hanging around as we get closer to the end.
Put out a hit on Josh Chin, apparently. But Leighton Norgard has found his way into the field looking for a good result. Certainly been quiet tonight. Has not been up there trying to slice and dice. He definitely is one of those guys trying to make it to the end of this race. Right now, the pack is... I would say, we had a ton of energy right at the very beginning of this run off of the caution. That has dissipated significantly. We are just not seeing the same level of energy being generated throughout the pack. I think a lot of these guys are trying to maybe not save fuel, but they're not trying to push. They're just trying to make it to that next pit stop, get to the end, and then try to decide this race.
I was really concerned that this would be the point where the aggression would really go through the roof and we'd start seeing a lot more reckless maneuvers. We haven't seen that yet. We'll see if that ramps up as we get closer to a potential green flag pit stop, but so far, P's and Q's being minded.
Man, that Florida sky is pretty.
It is a
Well, looking at
gorgeous.
this, he's looking at the sky. He's probably be looking at the car in front of him. No.
Yeah, well,
I know best that he's generally not looking at the car in front of him. That said, having a very good run right now inside the top 15 or so, riding on the bottom lane. That does kind of lead credence to your point, Zach. These guys, we could have been slicing and dicing, trying to get all they could with 50 laps to go, but they don't seem to be. There seems to be a lot more patience right now than really in any other part of the race thus far tonight. at the bottom, William White abandoned Connor Thompson Gardner. I wonder if William White is a little bit hot. The temps on that 43 car maybe a little bit heavy right now, and that's due to all the pushing he's been doing to the rear bumper, that 0-3. Osak up to the outside lane. He doesn't have any help. I don't think that's going to work out for him.
No, he's gonna go to the back on that one, which maybe that's by design, but I don't know. He definitely does not have any friends on that third lane right now.
He just moved up. I don't know if he didn't want to push Connor or what. But Gerald Campbell got up in that outside line out from behind Tyler Popp, but Popp is now up inside the top 10. Gerald's fallen back several rows. Now he jumps back down to the bottom. Decide where he wants to be. Can driver 31? Maybe he's looking at the sky a little too much. Evan Hibbs continues to control this race. Ethan Burrell second, Tyler Fody third, Brent Jones fourth. We've seen it a couple of times this week. If you are able to get a couple of drivers willing to stay in line at the front of the field, it becomes difficult to pass on the current iteration of iRacing's drafting model. We saw it on the trucks with the shift car trucks being able to stay at the front. They kind of controlled the race a little bit. You saw it Monday. It was Jonathan Cutlip and Tyler Fody and Tate Lytle were able to control that race for a very sizable portion of the midpoint. Now it's Gavin Hibbs, Ethan Burrell, and Tyler Fody again that have really started to control this race. And Austin and Abnett and Ray Bracey last night, we controlled the whole race. Once you get those guys working together at the front of the field in single file, it becomes difficult to pass. But if there is a package we've run this week that will overcome that camaraderie, definitely this next gen package.
You talk about the guys that are working well up front. I will direct Dave's attention to the 01 car of Ryan Gable, because I don't hate him enough to direct him to the car I actually want to talk about, which is the right behind him, that 87 of Chad Thornquist. I don't want to direct Huck to that car because it is blinked basically all night, and nobody has been willing to work with him for that reason. So Chad Thornquist, who is, of course, very stable at the moment now that I'm talking about him, has just kind of had to ride right here for 164 laps. Just enough that he can draft off the people in front of him. Not in front of anyone, because they won't stay behind him. And just kind of hang out, and every once in a while try to do something like this and hope something happens, but then of course nobody works with him, so he goes right back to the back. Just a miserable, miserable experience that Chad Thornquist is trying to make the best of a bad situation with an unstable connection here tonight.
And it's no fun. There's all pit stops. The bunch of guys heading for pit road.
See some walk-ups as well.
Oh, Trey Holmes is going to get an unsafe pit entry. He got a piece of the grass. Brent Jones, black flag.
Oh,
shame. Brent Jones had such a good run going. Sam Boutwell able to clear it. He will have to serve a drive-through as opposed to taking a 40-second hold, which would assuredly drop him a lap down. Holmes and Norgard both slid through their box. A very sloppy, I'll call it, sequence here for the Pro Edge group. And that has cycled the race lead up to Connor Thompson Gardner, but I believe the Lake Norman group is going to come down pit road this time with Tyler Fody, Scott Crump calling out they're heading down pit road. Another group heading in. Take a look at those black flags. Caleb Pecumer's going to join them. Tate Lytle, Ryan Gable, Gavin Higgins, Ernquist going to move with the Lake Norman group.
Yep.
No black flags on this one.
I almost wonder if that first one maybe feels like there was obviously some of these teams have their private communication channels through Discord or whatever the case may be, but I didn't hear a lot of chatter leading up to that in the race server itself, communicating to drivers around them or maybe other teams that pit stop was coming. I almost wonder if they were just a little bit too disorganized, that first group.
Mm-hmm. it certainly seemed to be the case, and I'm looking back to see how this Lake Norman group comes out versus the Pro Edge group. The Pro Edge group is going to be significantly ahead of the Lake Norman group here. In that Pro Edge group, Mark Rebelos was part of it. Matthew Weeks, Ethan Burrell, Gavin Hibbs, Justin Wadsworth, William White. They are about half a lap back. Well, let me revise that. They are at the line, the start-finish line, just crossed it. This group is coming off turn 4, so they're about a straightaway ahead of everybody else, and that's not including some of that Lake Norman group fell off the back of the first group. Well, you've got single file line here with Paul Mikolajczyk is the race leader. They will all have to make another pit stop. But a bunch of groups have deviated away from this front group and the front main pack. It's going to shake things up coming down to the conclusion of this race.
One thing that's going to be really interesting about that kind of deviation on the strategy, look, I'm not saying they can't find a way to crash, but generally speaking, in these cup races at Daytona, once you start breaking up the pack with different groups pitting, and you're no longer in this 30 to 35 car knot of 2 and 3 wide, you're a lot less likely to see an incident that will bring out a caution. So that has, I'm not going to say we're going to go green to lap 200, but we have significantly increased the likelihood of doing so by breaking up this pack.
Right. And that's the big key. Here's the radio communications.
Guys in this lead pack here, are we just going to run it dry?
At Frankenfield planning to go to the end. Well, I believe for Chad, that will be about 10 more laps, 15 more laps.
That would sound right-ish to me. Maybe a little bit further, but I think that you're somewhere in the ballpark with that. Yes, 144, so you're talking 10 to 15 more laps.
Leighton Norgard, Trey Holmes, we mentioned them having good runs. They slid through their boxes. Both of them did. Ended up losing the pack that they were working with. And Zach, we talked about it. And when it comes to this green flag cycle, you have to be perfect. And if you're not perfect, you end up losing so much time. That group lost a ton of time. I look back, Caleb Pacumer, Chad Thornquist, Ryan Gavel, and Tate Lytle, they are still trying to catch the first group of guys that came off pit road. They're cycling that second pusher, burning up, trying their best to move that group of 4 up to this front group of cars that have just come off pit road, and they're doing a pretty good job, but every time they have to switch, they lose a ton of time. They're really close, though, and I think Tyler Fody and Scott Crump are kind of lagging back just a teensy bit, trying to get their teammates up there to fight against Pro Edge group here to fight for maybe the win. I don't know exactly where this group's going to cycle out once all is said and done.
Well, if there's anything that might help them in a weird way, obviously some of these cars have lost the lead lap because they fell so far behind on this cycle. However, that means they're now mixed in with the leaders. They're going to be going a lot faster than these strings of 4 or 5 cars on their own. They might end up kind of conglomerating together after all.
Mm-hmm. Brent Jones is also going to join the pack of cars back there after going a lap down on his end. Down pit road comes Jonathan Cutlip, but
Jonathan Cutlip.
He is heading towards the 6 lap down mark that we noted when Ray Bracey fell back. He is 4 down, and he'll be 5 down, I think, with this pit stop.
He asked for a black flag cleared as well, so I fear he may have sped on entry, which could lead to a drive-through. We'll see if that is actually what the situation is there. I'll keep an eye on that.
Group of 4 that was catching.
Indeed.
Yeah. That, I mean, another drive-through that is going to put Cutlip right at that 6 lap down mark. Yeah. Group of 4 that was trying to catch the Pro Edge group is not doing so any longer. Up front, Mikolajczyk, Daniel Falkingham, Seth Rawls trying to run this single file. Rob Mooney's around. No caution, but the pit entry for the 84, no good. Take a look and see what happened to poor Rob. First Daytona 500 for him. Oh man, this
what
started
happened?
way earlier.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. I wonder if he was even trying to pit at all. I think he just
I
kind of
don't think
ended
so.
up there after the contact from the 4, and then while he's gathering it up, obviously nowhere for Michael Hossack to go. He just barely tags Mooney while he's already out of control. And we have a caution.
Caution's on the speedway.
That's Chad Turnquist.
Oh, wow.
So what happened here?
I'm assuming I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been trying to really hard to push to the back bumper of that group in front of them. And I think Tate Lytle's going to try to give Thornquist a little bit of an extra shove, and that goes awry.
Yep.
And once this next gen car gets on that flat and through that transition, it gets very difficult to hang on to.
And of course, with iRacing throwing the yellow, boy, that could have almost been bad. Let's get a TV angle of this as he's coming back down to banking to show you just how close he came to getting hit by oncoming traffic here. Because, I mean, he's got locked up. There's nothing else he can do at this point, but gravity is doing gravity things. Back down the racetrack. And right here, you're going to see...
Leaders are going to go by very soon. Yep, there they are.
Yeah, that would have been a heart in the throat moment for those drivers.
That is exactly what the group in the back wanted to see. They were losing time to the front pack, by the way. I think once it all shook out, the front pack just would have been in front of Ethan Burrell, Matthew Weeks, Tyler Fode pack back there. So this is the only thing that group needed in order to make up that ground, because they will now stay on the racetrack, allow these other cars that need to pit to head down pit lane. They will assume the race lead.
I use this phrase loosely because I still think he's fighting the same uphill battle we saw with Ray Bracey earlier tonight. But Jonathan Cutlip does get saved here in the sense that
won't lose another lap after the speeding penalty. Yeah.
Right. Because I believe that'll just get kind of turned into an EOL, and he'll get to continue 5 laps down. He's not going to be able to stay with the pack. He's going to need another yellow in short order to not get parked. But the fight continues for Jonathan Cutlip.
Yep. And as we've mentioned, right, a couple of cars, get together here, and all of a sudden, that what could be a 40th place finish turns into a 25th place finish. And then later on in the season, we're talking about Jonathan Cutlip has 10 extra points than that he didn't otherwise have in a fight to get into either a chase berth or potentially a number 1 seed. If you're talking about the driver of that 5 car that's going to be a contender week in and week out, those are important positions that he could certainly be acquiring should calamity start to happen, which, Zach, between you and me, we thought the last caution might have been it. This is definitely
we've thrown the fuel numbers out the window now, right? That's it's about to be a sprint race to the end. This restart right here, this caution right here is why 12 of 14 previous Elite Daytona 500s have gone to overtime. Tate Lytle given the tally.
Given the tally, I've seen, it's a little odd because I've seen other bad pushes. I would agree with that, because I've seen other bad pushes not get called as a tally thus far. We saw Gable and Jaden Racimus not get called a tally. We saw Carlos Acosta, Josh Adams not get kind of tallied up there. So the bad push hadn't been a tally all night long until just now. But I mean, that one was, I mean, it was a 4-car pack, a little bit more egregious. I can understand, but you know. Re-rack the field before we get to restarting here, as we are 1 to green, seeing some wave arounds that will occupy the bottom left of your screen here. Ethan Burrell is your race leader now. He will be flanked by his teammate Matthew Weeks. You'll have Gavin Hibbs in 3rd, William White 4th, Justin Wadsworth in 5th. Scott Crump will restart 6th. It'll be Tyler Fody 7th, Caleb Pecumer 8th, Tate Lytle 9th. Tate has hung at the back of the field all night long. He hasn't shown his face near the front since the very beginning of the race. He will now restart with track position and a chance to go out and capture his first Daytona 500 as a former 2-time champ. First car off of pit road after that cycle, Seth Rawls in 10th. You'll have Gerald Campbell 11th, Paul Mikolajczyk 12th, Chad Frankenfield. Or Gerald Campbell is 12th, sorry. Michael Goodman is up there as well. You'll have Chad Frankenfield. And I wanted to get all the way back to Daniel Falkingham, who will restart in the 15th position. And that car has been really, really fast and very strong at driving through the field and getting up to the front. He has to go from 15th. 23 laps to go. I would suggest you be on the lookout at home for that 39 car. Rell, a former Daytona 500 winner. Matthew Weeks, a former Daytona 500 winner. On the front row, control this race, and this race about to... the home is about to be gone. 23 laps to go. Ethan Burrell into the restart zone. Yeah, racing once again to conclude the 15th Elite Daytona 500. Huge jump by Burrell. He and William White track down the racetrack in front of Matthew Weeks, opening the door for the outside lane. Huge push from Crump, from Pecumer. Burrell up to cover. Rawls ducks middle. Won't be able to get that done. Falkingham jumped to the outside in that chaos. He's behind his teammate Mikolajczyk. And Mendelicado up to the outside. He'll have help from the South Shore cars of Carlos Acosta and Ty McIntosh. Now Rawls working top side. Caution is out. It's Corey Abbott around. Justin Vandermarle's got a practically homemade meatball flag. This happened way at the back of the field. Oh, whoa. What happened to Connor? Oh, it was the checkup. Is that contact right there, and it's Adams that moves back into line. Vandermarle is the car that gets the worst of this. Everybody else, I think, is going to be able to sneak by. It looked like that all started when Josh Adams jumped back in line to try to save his position after getting a little bit of sideways with Michael Hosack, and ultimately took out the 54 pretty much alone, along with Corey Abbott and Connor Thompson.
So I guess we'll try again.
And this is, what you mentioned when we started, talking about the intensity picking up, cautions. We were kind of expecting there just to be a few more, right? The cautions to kind of breed other cautions, but they're not to be the biggest wreck or something to that effect. And what we saw right here, it's a small yellow, only a couple of cars involved. It's just going to burn laps heading towards the conclusion of this race. We'll have less time for those guys to get to the front. And what's going to happen is it's going to up the aggression, increase the aggression even more, because there's even fewer laps to get to the front for guys like Tyler Fody, for guys like Tate Lytle, and even further back like Ryan Gable, Blake Reynolds. Wick is already going to get turned up, and as you burn laps away, the urgency picks up. I will say, you're behind the wheel, especially in a situation like this where it's just kind of a calming sensation. You know what you have to do, especially if you consider, Ethan Burrell, Scott Crump, William White, Caleb Pekumer, the group in the top. They know what they need to do. They've been running near the front all race long. Connor Thompson Gardner is going to get the tally from race control. That one started so much further ahead of him. Rob Mooney got the lucky dog. I'm sure you saw him rolling by. This is kind of that calming spot where you know what you need to do, and now you just are waiting for your opportunity to do it. I think the urgency, the issue is for these guys further back that we're kind of covering right now, like Tyler Popp, Gerald Campbell, Tate Lytle. They are questioning, what do we do? How do we get up through the field? The risks they're going to take is going to significantly increase. That's going to make things a lot more difficult for the cars in front of them once they start dicing it up to hold their positions that I'm sure they would like to sit in and kind of wait to the end of the race. About Michael Goodman in 11th, though. I think we popped by him there on the kind of through the field moment. Been a really good run. Kept that 44 car clean all night long. I think he stays in that bottom lane. I think he might have a real shot to kind of poach a top 10 here and maybe something a little bit better if things happen to break his way.
If he were to get a top 10, as you mentioned, it would be his first top 10 since the 2022 A season at Bristol.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been a while for Michael Goodman. He's been in this position too. He has certainly had opportunities. Absolutely. And it just hasn't gone his way. And he's been very clean tonight, had been on the right strategy. He's able to run in the pack. And I think this is the type of night that it could break your way. You just have to have something. The bad luck streak has to snap at some point, doesn't it?
One would think. I mean, and you talk about, guys who have been around a while. This is the 15th running of the Daytona 500. He finished in the top 10. He finished 6th in that first Daytona 500 back in the 2019-20 season. That race won by Chad Frankenfield.
I believe I was in that race.
I wasn't.
It was one of my first races. Did not finish well, but I think we went caution free. Something
That's
to that
one
effect.
of the two that ended at lap 200. I know that much. That was before my time.
Yeah, it was the old Gen 6 car, and there was only about 20 cars in the field. We've had 43, a very much more sizable field in more recent years. So it's been a lot harder to pull together those results as we've grown, and we're going to continue to grow as this race will go back to green flag conditions. Ethan Burrell, a little bit of a slower restart than the last time, did not get out as big of a jump. That's going to allow those Lake Norman teammates up top of Scott Crump and Caleb Pekumer to wind up a really big run. The outside lane much better formed, and Crump will lead us towards turn 1. Looking back there, 4th and 5th in line on the outside is Paul Mikolajczyk and Daniel Falkingham. Pair of teammates right there. They are going to be looking aggressively at both the middle and the outside lane, I am certain. Lake Norman duo up front is going to need to figure out how to keep that track position against that challenge. Scott Crump down to the inside in front of Ethan Burrell. He'll take over that bottom lane. Seth Rawls now pushing the middle lane with Caleb Pekumer leading it. 3 wide top, Nick Indelicato, the first one to make that move. He's well back in the field, no help right now for the 4.
Oh, that was so tight there between William White and Caleb Pekumer.
Here comes Blake Reynolds, pushed by Ryan Gable in the outside lane. They're still really far back. Now the inside clears up. It's Ethan Burrell to the outside. He'll be pushed by William White. Pecumer drops down to help Scott Crump, but Burrell's clear of the 90. He will drop down to the bottom lane and take over the race lead, but it's William White, the Stage 2 winner, working the outside. The third lane is starting to come together, and Zach, we're going to be 3 by 3 before you know it. Chad Frankenfield leading that line. Ty McIntosh has jumped up in there to try and lead it. Crump to the middle lane to get pushed by William White. Issue with that outside lane. Ty McIntosh jumped in front of it. Whenever somebody jumps in front of the outside lane, it kills the momentum of it. Every single time that happens. So you have to be really judicious with the push to the outside whenever you can make that happen, because you are basically going to kill the outside as soon as you make that move. Oh, Gable almost got a piece of Ty McIntosh. Now he's around. Tyler Pop around. Blake Reynolds around. Caution is on the speedway. A 5 to 6 car pile up in turn 4. Started when Ryan Gable went up the racetrack and got a piece of Ty McIntosh, came back down and collected Blake Reynolds and Tyler Pop. Norgard got spun out in this. Josh Adams may have picked up some damage as well. Oh, fortunate. Ty McIntosh and Chad Frankenfield. Tyler Pop didn't get hooked and drive right up into him there. Just lost Zach. I'll hang on to it for a little bit here. He might have had an internet issue. He's had those before. Trey Holmes went around in this incident. Dave, can we get a TV view maybe of this one just so we can see a little bit wider view of all the things going on here? Brent Jones trying to dodge through it. Ryan Borges trying to get through. I don't know if this one's going to tell us too much. I don't know exactly which TV views we have, though. There we go. Regard Holmes. Looks like Holmes got a piece on the left front. Jesse Racimus into the rear of Rob Mooney. Rucker hard on the brakes. I don't think he gets a little piece of Norgard, but I don't even think that's going to be damage. Overall, not a particularly hard-hitting incident here for the 8th caution of the race. Mark Rebelos gets the lucky dog. You'll see more guys coming down pit road to fix damage, including Gavin Hibbs, who he was much further forward, but I think there was some nose damage on that car. And I think we've got Zach back now. Let him get settled back in. Hopefully the internet and everything is all good on your end, Zach.
We'll see.
Only needs the last 15 more laps. Come on.
Well, you know, one would think. One would think.
Scott Crump now the race. Oh, go ahead.
No, I should not go ahead. I do not need to cut a promo on my internet service provider tonight.
Scott Crump, the race leader here with 15 laps to go in the Daytona 500. He'll be followed by William White, Seth Rawls, Paul Mikolajczyk, Daniel Falkingham, Ethan Burrell, Tyler Fode, Caleb Pecumer, Tate Lytle, and Matthew Weeks. The top 10 have Gerald Campbell, Carlos Acosta, Justin Wadsworth, Michael Goodman, and Ty McIntosh making up the top 15 in this one. Really, really good opportunity for some of these guys to go out and get a great start on their season points-wise. And I'll tell you, Zach, everybody is looking towards that trophy. You could see it from the way the racing was taking place, though the wreck didn't have anything at all to do with anything that was occurring at the front of the field.
Unfortunately, that's the name of the game at this point in the race. If you're not at the front of the field, what are you going to do to get to the front of the field? And sometimes that's, not necessarily the best mindset to have. Sometimes, especially if you're thinking big picture, you're thinking points, you gotta just accept your fate and see if they'll wreck in front of you. You can pick up spots that way and just settle for a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever the case may be. But it's hard to have that mindset when all you can see is the potential to win a Daytona 500 in front of you.
Right. Yeah, Thornquist's network connection got bad. He went and parked on the inside and extended the caution one lap, I believe. So that's the message we just got popping up on our screen. Tough day for Chad Thornquist. Made it 185 laps. Like you said, blinked every lap. Now will end up retiring from the event very late. Get a tally for the other one, or was that just... All right. Scott Crump heading towards the restart zone. He'll be pushed by Paul Mikolajczyk. We'll see whether Daniel Falkingham, Tyler Fode, other cars that are mired there on the bottom can make a run. It seems like that outside line is the one you want to be in here coming down the stretch. Race car is off. 9th caution of the race complete. 13 laps to go at the line, and we are racing once again. Scott Crump with a good jump over Paul Mikolajczyk. Got pushed from Ethan Burrell and Caleb Pacumer in that outside lane. Fode moves up. And that's going to cause a wreck. Tyler Fode, Matthew Weeks hard into the wall, and that's going to be a yellow, and there's going to be some angry drivers on that one.
Yeah, there's got to be plenty of chatter after that one, I fear.
Tyler Fode and Caleb Pacumer kind of executed the teammate restart, and it's something I've seen Matthew Weeks do with his teammates years and years, and Weeks didn't like it very much, jumped to the middle to try to get a run on Fode, and as soon as he did that, Daniel Falking, that didn't have anything to do with Matthew Weeks. I thought Weeks was the one who got a piece of Fode.
Yeah, it's hard to...
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
I don't know, because I do wonder, is there contact between the 39 and the 40, or does the 40 have to check up, and then that's when...
I think the 39 is the one that puts Fode in the wall, and at that point it breaks the right front, and Tyler's obviously turning the wheel trying to get the car down. You can see he's turned back to the right. He doesn't want to hook Matthew Weeks here.
Right.
Initially, right, the read was Weeks hooks Fode there into the wall.
Right.
And Fode hangs the left to come down and grab Matthew Weeks with him. That's not what happened at all. And
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, there's the contact from the 39 to the 40.
And I'm sure if we have capability to see the wheel, but like Tyler Fode he gets hooked to the wall, so he turns left to get the car off the wall. The car hooks and drives down the track. Right, but then he sees that, tries to drive it away from Matthew Weeks, but it's too late. Daniel Falkingham's going to get hit with the tally there, and I think that's absolutely right. Brent Jones a piece. Hosat gets involved. Who is that bouncing in the grass? Is that Nick and Delicato?
I think it is.
We might have to take a closer look at that particular ride for Nick and Delicato. Holy cow. Carlos Acosta is going to get through this with a very fortunate effort. Here, look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
I do wonder if that's going to cause damage on that 4 car, but holy cow.
That's how we almost pole vaulted a O'Reilly Auto Parts Series car when we had our exhibition at the Sim Gaming Expo last year at Chicago.
Mm-hmm. 2 wrecks being dodged in 2 corners today, and 2 different cars have had all 4 wheels off the ground. Rather remarkable. if I had a nickel for every time a car completely left the racing surface tonight and settled back down in the grass, I'd have 2 nickels. A lot, but it's weird it happened twice. Oh, hey, there's Blake Reynolds has happened another adventure.
For why, though? Is there any reason?
It appear to be. Dan Boutwell has issued Blake Reynolds an EOL. I believe that is, I would call that justified.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. Obviously, I'm not connected to the lobby anymore, so I'm not hearing any dialogue, if any, regarding that. But I'm just, I'd love to know more. I don't know if there is more to know, but I'd love to know more.
Some
I'm
dialogue.
avoiding a crash.
I don't know about that.
I think that part was over. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what the yellow flag means.
If he means avoiding crashing into the cars that are slowed for the pace car, there's other methods, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Got 37 cars still on the racing surface. Oh, here we go.
We need to up the budget over here at South Shore in the headset department.
Headset department. What happened? Whose headset did we lose? My Discord's been popping in and out all week. I'm on the browser version. I feel like I've been having that exact issue.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Well.
Which one? Was it?
Probably Bojo's. Oh wait.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't think it's Bojo's.
Moons, maybe? Who knows? Anyway.
You know, one thing about Rob Mooney, I never get to, you know, I try not to bring non-racing stuff and to talk crap about these drivers, other than Paul Mikolajczyk, but he deserves it because he's a Flyers fan. But, you know, Rob Mooney, he is a 2009 North Carolina Tar Heels National Championship denier.
True. Yukon. He's a Yukon Husky.
He is.
84.
He still insists that, you know, if it hadn't been for injuries, 2009 would have been all Yukons, which is, you know, unfortunate because we do have the injuries turned on in real life. And also, the 2009 UNC team scored 100 points falling out of bed, as Jay Billis always likes to say. So I don't think it really mattered.
That's what happens if you get 10 cautions in the Daytona 500. You start talking about 2009 UNC basketball. We're going to try to decide this thing. 10 laps to go, coming to 9 to go here at the line. Scott Crump, the race leader, the Flyers fan running second, and
oh no! Yeah, who is that?
Tell us whoever's 35th. We're back green. We'll stay on the race lead. 35th is Jesse Racimus. And Blake Reynolds is already 3 wide. Grass seems to not have affected that car too much. Side by side for the lead between Crump and Mikolajczyk. First car to jump out 3 wide is Trey Holmes mid-pack. William White to the outside of Scott Crump for the race lead. That's going to hurt the bottom lane. Rawls to the back bumper of White. Mikolajczyk hooks up with Crump. It's William White to the outside. The Brit with the race lead. He won stage 2. He's been strong all race long.
Oh no. Best friends leading the outside.
Chad and Rucker, yeah?
Yep.
Yep, that's about right. Chad now back to the middle lane. He's going to leave Rucker out to dry.
There we go.
Delicato's car seems to be no worse for the wear. Scott Crump takes the race lead back up front. Delicato's car bounced up in the air and did a wheelie. It seems to be okay. This front pack continues to be led by Crump, Mikolajczyk, White, and Burrell. Outside lane, definitely the stronger lane right now. And Delicato looking to the outside of Michael Goodman. Goodman shuffles down to the bottom. Mikolajczyk to the race lead of this Daytona 500. 7 to go. Bad push from Burrell. It's going to squirrel up the middle. Burrell to the middle of the racetrack. With him goes Falkingham. It shoves William White out to the outside lane.
And Scott Crump to the lead.
Crump to the lead. Burrell to second. Here comes Falkingham through the middle. Pecumer and Falkingham bang doors down the back straightaway. Now Mikolajczyk jumps to the outside. Big push. The fueled up racing Chevys now have a chance to take this race lead. Mikolajczyk to the point. Pushed by Falkingham. Seth Rawls clears Crump. Here comes Tate Lytle and Carlos Acosta. Working the outside lane. 3 wide top. It's William White trying to make his way through and get back to the point. Middle lane, the strong lane now. It's Mikolajczyk and Falkingham still leading. Here comes Rawls. Crump working the bottom lane, back with a push from Burrell.
And this is where we saw at the end of the duels, at the end of the clash, these guys get nose to tail up front. You know the blocks are coming. How do you get through these maneuvers without turning yourselves at the front of the field?
Teammates 1, 2, 3 wide, all the way back behind them. And those guys have to figure it out. Blake Reynolds, the big push to William White. William White bangs into the back bumper. White spins to the bottom. William White is out of the Daytona 500. No caution. It's 1 car down to the inside. Blake Reynolds shoves through William White. He jumps to the race lead and now zips to the bottom of the racetrack. Mikolajczyk with the block. Reynolds' Channel 199 racing team kind of out of this series for now. He's kind of the last remaining member. Ryan Gable to the inside. He'll try to get the push from Blake Reynolds this time. But Mikolajczyk over to Fueled Up Racing this season, and he's going to have a chance to win the Daytona 500. Big push from Ryan Gable. Gable shuffles up to the top, rolls to the apron, rolls is out of it. Crash. Tate Lytle down to the inside, another one, and now they're going to wreck big.
Campbell's in.
Gerald Campbell, Leighton Norgard, Rob Mooney, Daniel Gore, Chad Frankenfield, and more.
I think maybe Connor Thompson Gardner I saw in it as well. Oh, man.
Oh, so much shuffling and pushing. It was bound to happen, and it's a bad push from Delicato into Chad Frankenfield. But this happened, I mean, laps before. Obviously, the bad push from Lytle into Rawls kind of kickstarts this whole thing, but then Delicato gets a piece of Chad, sends Tate hurtling towards the inside wall. I would be shocked if that 56 car is not completely broken against the inside wall. Rucker's going to get spun out. Campbell involved.
I think in Delicato, obviously, he makes the contact with Frankenfield, but before that, Frankenfield had kind of gone up the hill and bounced off. I believe that was Jonathan Cutlip's door, and just really nowhere for the 4 car to go.
We're going to get a good view of Tate Lytle airborne on the bottom of the racetrack. Yeah, he hit the inside wall a ton, and night will be over for the 56 of Tate Lytle.
That is a huge hit.
He's work out pretty well for William White and Seth Rawls. The two of them, I think, do not get collected in this. So despite getting knocked out of the way, the duo there is going to have a chance remaining. And Tate Lytle with a just vicious hit to the inside wall. See if we can't get a TV view of the rest of the wreck as well. Maybe put it on Gerald real quick, and then we'll cover this green-white checker here. It's going to go over 200 laps again, Zach.
Boy, the trends, they are a-trending.
My goodness.
He'll be the 13th time in 15 Daytona 500s.
Right, Connor Thompson involved, Daniel Gore. Oh my goodness, we missed that.
That was Brent Jones almost going upside down.
I knew there was more to this wreck. I could feel it. Feel it in my bones.
What an odd impact for that to happen to Brent Jones. He's slowed down, almost got it missed.
It's Connor. You see, he's not expecting Connor to keep rolling. You see, the wheels are not locked up on the 0-3.
Oh,
that turns the 89 all the way over. I think he's going to do a Dale Earnhardt right here. Going to just throw in gear and drive it away.
Yeah, we saw him kind of spinning around on the apron. That was obviously why he was trying to drive away after all that.
Unreal. We mentioned it when he went 5 laps down. Jonathan Cutlip has stayed on the racetrack, and given the bit of attrition, he's already picked up 3 positions since we mentioned that. He's going to pick up at least 1 more with Tate Lytle's misfortune, and probably a few more before the end. I don't know if he can get a few more before the end of this one, but several points towards the Jonathan Cutlip machine from the attrition in this race. We're going to line up 1 to green. They are going to rule it a racing incident, which, I mean, yeah. Mikolajczyk is leading this race. Ryan Gable will restart 2nd. Daniel Falkingham 3rd. Carlos Acosta will restart in 4th. Blake Reynolds 5th. Nick Indelicato 6th. I thought Tyler Fode was out. I sent him a message asking for him to come do an interview after the wreck. He's 7th. Or must be all right. I thought for sure it was broken the way it turned back down, but no.
You might still get your interview. We'll see.
Yeah, he might be interviewing from the podium. Evan Higgins, 8th. Josh Adams, 9th. Chad Frankenfield's damage must not be too bad. He is 10th.
I do have to turn back the clock a little bit here, David. Let's think back to the 2026A Brickyard 400. And nobody did anything wrong in this situation. There weren't any wrecks. There wasn't any controversy. But in that race, Ryan Gable was in the mix. If memory serves, he finished 2nd in that race.
He did.
But he had a shot at the win. And there was definitely some conversation afterwards, some frustration about losing out to the pros as a 9-to-5er, I believe was the phrase used by the guys who are more of the hobbyists here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. If you think he's got to cut any quarter to some of these guys around him on this restart, I have some news for you.
And I think, you talk about the hobby. I mean, that's Carlos Acosta right there in the outside lane as well. He's a broadcaster. He's a producer, man. He's got a chance to win the Daytona 500. He needs to stick right to the back bumper, that 0-1, all the way through the end of this dang thing. Pace car is off. Tom Mikolajczyk with a good jump. Better jump than the outside lane gets. It's going to push Daniel Falkingham clear. Ryan Gable's going to have to make that ground back up as they move to the outside in front of him. Going to open the door for Tyler Fode. Crash. Rob Mooney got a piece of Trey Holmes. It's going to collect Justin Wadsworth, and there's going to be a yellow before we get there. There it is. Caution's out.
Well, heck.
I don't know where that happened. Maybe Moons just left a little bit of a gap that Holmes tried to shoot.
Yeah, I think that was... Not sure what it looks like on that first glance. We'll see. Yeah, he didn't quite commit to going the 3rd lane. He didn't quite stay tucked in behind Scott Crump in the 2nd lane. Probably still a little bit optimistic on Trey Holmes' part, but I can understand why he would have been a little uncertain on Mooney's intentions as well.
One wonders whether cutting 3 wide middle for 15th with 2 laps to go is going to do anything for you other than wreck you.
Yeah.
But
it feels like one of those where it's going to be ruled a racing incident, but when you're talking the practicalities of the situation, there's a little bit to go around for both drivers, I think.
I think Moons can do a little, and that's, it's a learning driver versus an aggressive,
Absolutely.
experienced vet that's expecting certain courtesies, but obviously no courtesies are being given. There's 2 laps to go in the Daytona 500. So, go time. What are you going to do?
What we're going to do is attempt the second green-white checker.
And we are way over 200 laps once again, man. Every time in this Daytona 500, you can pencil it in.
Apparently so. Tally to Trey Holmes.
I don't disagree with that one.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're fine with that call.
Given that, the guy can leave a car's width of space in front of you, maybe not commit exactly to the lane you're expecting him to run. But at the end of the day, if you put the nose in, the hole closes. You put the nose in, and the hole closed, and you cause the wreck. You don't have to. You could stay in line right there and build that run up and go around that guy in the middle of the corner or on the straightaway. It's a little bit safer to do, and you do that on the restart, entering the corner. You're begging for trouble. Would be my honest assumption of it.
I was holding out on the explainer on the first green-white checkered attempt. I was so optimistic we'd only need one. But since we've got a second one coming up, for fans new to the Belly Up Sports Cup Series, or the Elite Racing League, by league rules, there will be a maximum of 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Of course, by the iRacing rule book, if the caution comes out before the white flag, as we saw in that instance, they didn't even make it to turn 1, then you rack them up and try it again. Once the white flag is displayed, it is a race to the checkered flag. It does not matter what happens on the white flag. It will be a race back to the line. The caution cannot be displayed after the white flag. So if we see that white flag, we will be dashing back to the line to crown a Daytona 500 winner, and hopefully we don't get a caution on a third green-white checkered attempt, because then that ends the race and nobody's happy.
3 chances, you ought to be able to get all the way around, right? So, one time to get the white flag. That's all we ask. Then you can crash to your heart's content.
Here is hoping.
We will, I believe, go to 1 to green this time. Paul Mikulajczyk, the race leader. Dave, do we have the lap-led leaderboard here? I believe the 77 is going to be close to the top. Yeah, I think the 77 is going to be at the top. There it is. Yep.
We're good.
Look at that. Daniel Falkingham led 1 lap. It was lap 65 to win the stage. I believe the plan is, as Mikulajczyk takes the bottom, the plan's going to be get a jump on the 39, drive up to the top. So if Carlos and Gable can maybe carve up a run on the bottom lane, that shuffle to the top may slow it up a little bit, and Ryan Gable may have a run to catch up to Mikulajczyk down the back straightaway here. That might be the type of thing where a block may occur from somewhere, and that may be one of those issues that happens, but we'll get there when we get there. We've got Tyler Fode in 6th. He's been involved in a wreck, but he's carved his way back through the field in record time and is right back in the thick of this thing. You've got Nick Indelicato, the pole sitter, running in 7th. He's been doing a wheelie in this race, been able to get back there. Gavin Higgins was against the backstretch wall with Daniel Falkingham on about the 30th lap of the race. And he is in the top 10 in 8th. Josh Adams runs 9th. He's been up and down tonight. Ethan Burrell parlayed the pit strategy into the race lead, but fell back. He is 10th with a chance to make his way back to the front. And then you look outside the top 10, Chad Frankenfield, Scott Crumps led a lot of laps today. He's got some work to do. And Leighton Norgard made it 203 laps, but the connection packets have dropped for the 12 car. So he will not be able to finish the Daytona 500, I don't believe.
What a shame.
Got in late, had a pretty good run, got sucked up in some of those late wrecks, was running 23rd. He will not be able to take the green flag and finish this race with everybody else.
Better make sure you buy enough packets to get to the finish.
Pace car is heading off, and I believe the plan will be to get Mikolajczyk up in front of Daniel Falkingham here. Into the restart zone, early into the restart zone goes Mikolajczyk, and he's got to wait for the start-finish line. He will get there and move up. There's the plan. Now Ryan Gable needs a push. Carlos Acosta did not get a good enough jump. I don't believe that inside line is not going. There's the push from Acosta. Going to need more. Get this inside line going, but it's going. Ryan Gable rocketing up to second. Paul Mikolajczyk down the back straightaway. No career Belly Up Sports Cup Series wins for that 77. Higgins to the outside lane. He's going to get hung out to dry by Ethan Burrell. Gable falls back down the back straightaway. It's the three up front. Mikolajczyk, Falkingham, Reynolds. They get squirrely. Gable on the apron. He hangs on to it. We're racing back to the white flag. We are going to get it. 1 lap to go in the Daytona 500. It's Mikolajczyk up front. Oh, 1 car down on the apron. Now it's Carlos Acosta. Shuffled out of line, I think, by Indelicato. He'll get back in line, but a tough break for Carlos. Here comes Scott Crump. He'll have help from Rob Mooney. They work to the inside lane. Kyler Fode's most certainly going to find a way to try and get in front of his teammate, but that won't be enough. Crump back to the middle. Back to the bottom. He's the only one making a move. It's this front three, but here comes Tyler Fode. Try to break it up. Crash behind. It's Harrison Talon out of shape. Rail to the bottom. Big crash behind. Mikolajczyk's got this. As they are side by side behind him, it's his there. Check for 100. Hall wins. Reynolds second. Falkingham third. Hibbs and Tyler Fode round out the top 5. Rob Mooney came home in 8th. Incredible, as Paul Mikolajczyk dominated this race. Really had the best run of anybody. Look at that, lined up behind him. No challenges all the way to the line.
No, it was a brawl for second behind him. Paul Mikolajczyk able to go all the way to the checkered flag. That's going to be his first career Belly Up Sports Cup Series win, and it's going to come in the 15th running of the Daytona 500.
No, it's been a week for a little bit of surprising winners. You've had, Josh Adams wasn't a surprising winner, but that race also should have had more green-white checkers on Sunday. Monday, Ty McIntosh winning on the Grand National race. I don't think he participated in a Grand National race last season, and goes and takes home that trophy. I won last night. I've never won an elite race before. I don't think Paul Mikolajczyk's won an elite race before. Might have snagged a Monday or Sunday win that I wasn't privy to, but at minimum, this is his first Belly Up Sports Cup Series win, and it's on the biggest stage.
You are correct. This was his first elite win, period. His best elite finish across all the series before tonight was second in the 2025 B Daytona race that Seth Rawls won, the 250 miler.
He's been close. He's been close at a lot of these speedway tracks, and finally gets it done. I mean, but he had a perfect storm, right? Former teammate and teammate side by side behind him coming to the line, and that's exactly what you need in order to win one of these things is the perfect storm, the perfect set of circumstances, and we've seen it this week with pretty much all of those wins. Build Up Racing putting together an excellent first race, and their excellent first race with the new squad. You've got Gavin Hibbs there celebrating with his teammate. But I mean, look at this group. I mean, 1, 3, 4 for Fueled Up Racing.
Now, look, obviously not the finish. Jonathan Cutlip or Justin Vandermeer won, but we saw them up front a lot early on in this race as well.
They were contenders, and they will certainly continue as contenders throughout this season. Let's go ahead and bring. Blake Reynolds already jumped in the booth. Are we going to do the driver of the race, where we do the top two in an interview, or should we should just go ahead and do the top three? I'm assuming for the 500 here.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and start with Blake Reynolds since he's here, and we'll talk to him. And Blake, it's David in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Blake, push Paul to the win. I think you've expressed your pleasure for
I am a
him as a
huge
teammate.
Paul Mikulajczyk fan. Yes, I am. And I am so happy because, I think it was last season, the one before, I thought he was going to win Pocono. That's his home track, and he was close. I think Stanley beat him off pit road, and that's how he won that race. But, oh my God, I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
So with that, I mean, obviously, you guys were trying to get him to the line for sure. It seemed like any thoughts of going for the win? I don't even know if you really had anything for it when you guys were lined up, able to control that outside lane. It was probably the best thing for you to keep yourself in the top 5 spot.
I mean, yeah, but not even 10 laps before I was avoiding a checkup under caution. I went through the grass and Chad gave me a stupid EOL. So thanks, Chad. I had to drive through the field to do that. And mostly I was just pissed about that. So by the time I got to the front, I'm like, how did I get up front? And all of a sudden we're in green, white, checkered mode. And I see Paul, and I knew Paul and Falkingham were working together that last, chunk of the race. And I knew they probably had a plan. So I wasn't even in their VC. I was working with the Shift Esports guys tonight just because I'm a one-man show now. All my teammates are gone. So it came down to that final restart. I'm like, I think I know how this is going to go. So I knew Dan wasn't going to make a move, and I probably wasn't either. Paul Mikulajczyk was going to win that race, and I was doing my damnedest to keep the Lake Norman in the Pro Edge. Burrell. I was trying to keep Burrell behind me, but that's awesome. I'm so happy for Paul.
And I know you have told us you'd be taking a little bit more of a step back this season, so a good points night isn't exactly something you were looking at going into the evening. But outside of winning the race yourself, is there a better outcome than coming home second to Paul for this one?
Nope, this is like dream lineup. This is like dream lineup, man. I am so happy for Paul.
And with that, Blake, obviously no future points. So for future points things, are you going to be here next week would be the first question, and second would be any shout outs before we send you off tonight.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule, to be honest. It's a little hard to find in the Discord sometimes, so we'll go look at that. I heard we're going to Redskogen. I don't know how far into the schedule it is, but I think I might show up for that. That is an awesome track, so I'll probably do that. But shout out to Channel 199 Sim Racing, Travis Pastrana, and all the great people there, Josh and Teal. Shout out Paul on the Racecraft Academy side and his sponsors, and I'm sure he'll thank them. New colors for me. I've been running these in the Coke series so far. Real Street Performance, Real Street Tactical, Truck Racer, of course, and Racecraft Academy on my car. And then shout out to you guys. I'm sure it's a good little Daytona 500. Probably went by quicker than you thought. But yeah, it'll be a good watch back. Shout out to Chad in the league, although I'm mad at him. But shout out to them.
Gotcha. Well, Blake, congrats on P2, and hopefully as many times as we see you this season, we'll be talking to you. So good luck the rest of the way, and we'll catch you next time.
That's the hope. I'll see y'all. Thank you.
P2 Blake Reynolds. We'll grab P3 Daniel Falkingham. They've made their way to the waiting rooms, so we'll grab Dan here and talk to him. And Daniel, you had a very adventurous evening. I would describe it as you got in a very early crash and managed to win a stage, fixed a ton of damage, and ultimately found your way to P2 or P3 at the end of the night. I mean, take me through it because it seemed like a very chaotic night for you.
Yeah, a little more chaotic than I would have liked it, but that's what's going to happen when you start as deep as we did and just trying to make moves. And yeah, we had so much damage. I felt like the entire night we kept getting involved in wrecks. My car was blowing with me and Fody on one of the late restarts, which I apologize to him about that. Like, I thought I was plenty clear, but if I made the move just a scotch sooner, we would have been just fine. But just the aggressive moves you got to make at the end of these races. So I do apologize to him. I put my hand up on that. But still, we got a podium out of it. Got a lot of great points, especially with the season-long points and stuff, which I know is going to be important for the chase at the end of the season. So that's always great. And just happy for Paul, man. We were literally working together once we got hooked up those last 50 laps. And if I couldn't win it, I'm just glad he could win it. I wanted to make sure at least one of us did. So good night for the fueled up racing team.
How much, as odd as it is to ask, I mean, it was kind of a similar situation to the Clash for you. Did it help having that experience and knowing how well the car performed with some damage in that race to kind of ease the tension when you got that damage early on tonight?
Yeah, I definitely could feel how much of the damage was affect me, but there was times where I could still keep up at a certain pace. So I think I had a minute of damage when we won the first stage, so we were able to hang on there. I had probably a minute 30 of damage at the end of the second stage. We had that yellow before the end of stage 2, which I had the fuel to make it to the end of stage 2 before I had to pit. That's what my goal was, but it didn't turn out that way. I saw the damage, but I felt like I had to go for the points because every point matters. So we stayed out, tried to get the points, and we got some decent stage points tonight, and we were able to still get a good finish out of it. But with damage, definitely did not help me trying to the second stage because I was in front of, I think it was in Delicato on that restart before the end of the second stage, and I was just an absolute tank. I couldn't go anywhere until someone could get in front of me and build up momentum. So once the momentum was built, I was fine. So yeah, it was interesting, but I'm glad we could. We had got it all fixed before that final long run we had, so we were able to go full push and try to execute a plan with pitting. And like I said, it was chaotic. I had a lot of it, but thankfully we got it all fixed and we didn't have to worry about it.
Daniel, you mentioned the points, but obviously, you're maybe the favorite to go and win the championship. So a stage win and a P3 to start the season, that's got to feel good to go ahead and get out ahead of the points chase, because we know your schedule. You missed a few races last year, and I think it kind of wound up costing you.
Well,
we still good?
Oh, there you go. It was your mic was cutting out for a second, so I didn't know what you said right there.
Oh, sorry. How's the points? You started off really well. Feel like you got a chance to win the regular season championship. Feels like you're the favorite, especially after a start like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Even we missed a couple of races last season because I was doing the college series stuff, but that shouldn't be an issue this time around. But yeah, we still won the regular season championship. So we had the number 1 seed going into the chase, but we just had so many bad races in the chase that inevitably cost us, us blowing an engine at New Hampshire, and then just a lot of other factors that just fell out of our control. So gonna try to rectify those issues this season, and hopefully we can make another run at the title because I definitely feel like we got a good shot at it.
And before we let you go, what do you think on this podium finish tonight?
Thanks Chad for all he does. Thanks to Belly of Sports for sponsoring the series. Thanks y'all for broadcasting. And shout out to Fueled Up Racing, teamed up with them for this season. So shout out to Gavin, John, and the whole crew over there. I'm still trying to remember everyone that's on the team. But shout out to all those boys over there. They know who they are. Again, shout out to Paul. Congrats to him on the win. Like I said, I was going to make sure it was one of us that won. If I'm going to win, I'm glad it was him. Shout out to everyone who came out and raced tonight to make this stuff possible. And thanks to everyone watching. And hopefully we put on a good show for you.
It was a great show. Thanks, Daniel. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Thanks, David.
We did the wrong chat, but that's all right. Well, let's go grab race winner. Let's grab race winner, Paul Mikolajczyk, Daytona 500 champion, Paul Mikolajczyk. How's that sound, buddy?
Pretty good. I don't know how to talk right now. Honestly, my heart rate's way too damn high.
Well, that'll give me time to finish typing your name.
Good pulling back.
There we go. I don't win all that often, David. I don't know if you realize that.
Buddy, I'm right there with you.
yeah, this is weird. I don't honestly, I like it, but it's also there's just too many eyes on me. You know, my anxiety's
I know,
through the
right?
roof for no reason.
It's but you ran a great race too. Is the funniest thing, right? You led the most laps tonight. You had a really strong car. You had really strong teamwork. I felt like, when it came down late and you got control of the race on those restarts, it seemed like you were kind of the one to beat, and that ultimately was the case. I mean, take me through those last couple restarts and how it all played out for you.
Yeah. Thank God I'm friends and teammates with Dan because we orchestrated every single one of those. And I would say I would tell him like I'm going to say it late just in case anyone was watching the stream and would try to time it off of me. So I'd say it like come into like the line and say when I'm going, and then we go and orchestrate every single time. And then Dan said on the last lap it's all goes. I was like fine. And then Blake pulled out and then he lost Mo behind me, and I was like, oh my god. And I just looked at my mirror all the way to the start finish line, and I let my hand off the steering wheel, did a little pirouette across after the line. I was like, I hope don't penalize me. I don't know.
That's yours, man. You won it. You did it. Now I got to let Zach ask a Flyers fan a question. So I'm sure that's his favorite part of the night.
We didn't have to bring that part of it up. It's okay,
Man,
though.
I was at the game 3 and I saw them lose. You can't do that to me, D West.
I didn't do it. That's fair. D-West did that, not me. I wasn't gonna bring anything up. We were just gonna focus on the moment. Man, I mean, obviously, we could, I'm struggling talking, just trying to talk to you right now. The prestige of the Daytona 500, the grind of 200 laps, 500 miles, knowing who you're against in this field in particular. It's not just, some official lobby you're getting dropped into in February or whatever. What does it mean to win this race?
It feels so nice because I've done this is my 4th time here. I've done it in a lot of other leagues, like the one-off like special events, and I think the best I've ever finished, and I think was in a separate league, was like actually I don't remember where I finished. My best finish here is, but I think it was like 7th or 8th, and I was so happy because I was against so many like other pro guys. I was like this. I was that 8th equal to win. And this is nuts. I still haven't stopped shaking. This is crazy. I can't wait for the win alcohol.
What's
You
going
gotta
to be
do
the
it.
alcohol of choice?
Whatever's out there, anything. I don't
A
think
man
I
of
have
taste.
anything easily shootable. I think I'm out of tequila, so it'd probably be a big old glass of Jameson.
There you go.
I got one last night, but Paul, obviously you'll be a regular season contender. A win really helps in such a kind of a short regular season points format. You've got Auto Club coming up, and with such a strong team, obviously moving over to Field Up this season, I would say you're definitely on pace to be a chase driver this year. And with that, what are your thoughts for the rest of the season, or is this kind of the maybe you hit the mountaintop early and we'll just everything else is gravy?
I don't think I'm beating this. Maybe I'm a little too realistic. There's no way I'm winning the championship. But I don't remember what I was going to say now. Yeah, I definitely hit just the mountaintop. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Oh excuse me.
It's
No,
elation.
I was doing so well too.
You did great. You did great until you didn't.
Yeah.
Well,
I knew that was gonna be a problem too. Every time I started, I'm like, oh, I almost said another thing.
Well, before we let you go, so you can say all the bad words you want and drink all the alcohol you want, who do you have to thank? Because I know there's probably some people you just can't wait to shout out right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. Thanks to the rest of my Field Up teammates, Gavin, Justin, Jesse. I'm definitely missing someone. I'm gonna feel so bad. John, forgot him. Shout out Racecraft. Shout out Next Level Racing. Use code Racecraft to check out for a discount. Shout out, yep, exactly, Racecraft. Shout out Apex Gaming PCs. Shout out everyone that watched. Shout out you guys for broadcasting and always being such an open and inviting people. Yeah, I think that's it.
Paul, congrats on the win, man. It's always good to see a first time winner, but especially in a Daytona 500 like this, in a Somebody who I love seeing somebody who appreciates the win, and it was a good week of winners. I'll say that.
Yes, I didn't even know you won yesterday until you just said it. So congrats to you.
It's been a good week. So congrats, Paul, for real. It's awesome to get your first win at Daytona, and hopefully we see you up here again. All it takes, man, it's gravy. The pressure's off. You don't have to try hard to get back up here. It'll just happen.
I don't think I think about it. I thought Pocono was it last season B was or whatever that was gonna be my only podium ever.
Well, you got another one now. Might as well get another one next week. What do you know?
Yes, that sounds like a plan.
Galishik, Daytona 500 winner. Go celebrate, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have been on the air for quite some time, Zach, but a thrilling race and a thrilling finish there with Paul Mikulajczyk picking up his first Elite Series win, and it's awesome stuff.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, you could tell how excited a lot of people are with that win. Not the least of which, of course, being Paul Mikulajczyk. Shout out to him. You mentioned it, but Rob Mooney, P8, another top 10 finish for him. I mean, just an incredible finish to the night for him. You can see the results scrolling across the screen. Of course, this is just the beginning, right? Obviously, it's a huge deal, the Daytona 500 each season, but we've got 17 more races here to start this 2026 B Belly Up Sports Cup Series season. We'll be back in 1 week time I know it's one of my favorites. I'm sure it's one of your favorites because lots of people love Auto Club Speedway. Cannot wait for 200 miles there. And then it'll be onward for the rest of the season. So the journey starts anew.
It's going to change things, right? And with we didn't mention it a ton tonight, but no Ethan Stanley, Blake Reynolds scaling back to part-time. We don't know if he'll be there for Auto Club next week, so it could be a cast of different characters trying to take down Daniel Falkingham next week at Auto Club. So be sure to tune into the Elite Racing Network, and we'll let Dave go eat dinner here. So everybody have a good night. We'll see you next week.